great. The news regarding the Bucks could not be worse, as we got the email less than an hour ago that Dame Lillard has a ruptured Achilles tendon and will be out for at least 6 months and the rest of the playoffs. The Bucks are one game away from elimination. The Giannis era, the window appears to be closing. That is a horrific development on that front, and it's bad enough to lose to Indiana as they're chirping. We'll get to more of that. Today on the program, though, is Game Balls and Kicks to the Balls Monday. If you're new to the show, welcome. I'm glad you discovered us. I'm glad you're hanging out. If you're a returning champion, if you're one of our graduate transfers who have now been granted status, some of you are tenured professors and been with us for a long time, you know that on Mondays, we simulate that scene in the locker room following a tremendous uplifting victory, and you get to hold a game ball aloft and present it to somebody for a job well done. And today on the Drew and KB program, that sounds like this.
How about this atmosphere?
How about it? Mark Murphy is the game ball sound. Now, the flip side of that, we're trying to be positive in terms of all the draft. Everybody's positive today. Everybody thinks that their own draft was the best draft of all drafts in the history of drafts. And grades be damned. And we won't know for a while. But in this post-draft era, you might want to deliver someone a little bit of a wake-up call, a little bit of a memo, a little bit of a performance improvement plan. You want to give them a well-placed kick to the huevos today? That sounds like this.
I feel bad for him.
Doc Rivers on Dame Lillard. Don't we all feel bad for Dame Lillard? Oh, my goodness. The guy rushed back, from the historic deep vein thrombosis recovery, rushed himself back. Is that what caused the injury? That's unknowable.
Right.
We don't know. But the fact that happened and it sucked the life out of the building where the Bucks were arguably not showing that many signs of life early yesterday, it's just terrible. That's a gut punch. But we'll try to focus on the positives today, at least at the outset. And as we look back at what it was just a genuinely an exhilarating experience to be in the shadow of Lambeau Field, as we say, and to see the masses of people and see the success of the event. Football aside, just take the football and the players that the Packers acquired out of the equation. What the organization did in conjunction with the NFL, City of Green Bay, Ashwaubenon and De Pere, everybody. We saw cops rolling in from Racine to help with traffic and enforcement and stuff. It was truly a magnificent effort, and everybody deserves a game ball for being involved with the draft. But selfishly, we don't usually do this. We're not very good at telling our own story in the media. We're not good at patting ourselves on the back because it comes off as cloying and gratuitous and just, bogus. But I am always very happy to be working here at the station and with the guys in the game galaxy and my coworkers. We generally we like each other. We sometimes disagree on functions and philosophies, but we always generally have a good time. But man, did we shine this weekend. Show me an outlet in any draft that covered the draft with the array of people and just information and social media and just the on-air broadcast during the draft. That I think ours was unmatched. Somebody might have done a really good job, but I think we blew past everybody that's ever done it on this here in this little galaxy of ours. So the game balls go to all of my teammates, starting with the red hot Tim Scott, program director to the Stars, who not only put everything together and has to manage everything and everybody, and I can't even fathom what he goes through. He also threw some burgers and brats on the grill for us, handled the grocery shopping, helped clean a lot at the flop house, which was much needed. We'll talk about that. I don't know, man. We do it every year at training camp, and you think we'd be more used to it, but maybe it is good to go back to college and reconnect with your college days. But I tell you, it is nice to be home and not be hanging in a house with 10 dudes. It is good to get back to the normal routine. Good to sleep 8 hours. So red hot Tim Scott.
Tim Scott's an upstanding guy.
There you go. Zaben Butch. I wake up with Zaben Butch a lot. I wake up and flip on their show and see what they're up to and what they're doing. I didn't have to flip anything on last week.
Flipped for you.
It was flipped. It was like having a clock radio on the nightstand next to the bed, and I'm smacking it to hit snooze. I'm like, no, wait, they're downstairs and these walls are thin. I'm just in the studio with them doing their shows. So we're all sleep deprived, but those guys brought it, especially Butchie, his enthusiasm, and as a Fox Valley native, the pride that he showed for what Green Bay put on. And there's a great video on our social channels of Zabe and Butchie walking through the crowd, and Butchie just getting selfies and how huge he is. And I don't mean that as a pun because he's 7 feet tall, but I mean how huge he is in the Fox Valley and how what a big shot he is.
Local celebrity, absolutely, national, really,
absolutely. Our buddy
Worldwide.
Mike Heller came up after joined us midweek, and as always provided entertainment with his. He's so erudite. He just brings it all the time, and his analysis was great. And then we had Andrew Ludwig from the Zabe and Butch program up there helping with social, helping with logistics, helping get us set up at Buffalo Wild Wings. Doug Russell, hardest working guy and a mentor to Hunter. Just an incredible job that Doug did. Anchoring the coverage with Wayne Larrabee and Billy Schmid, who just added an addition to his family and was still in here, showing you how passionate he is. You could keep him away from Green Bay, but Wild Horses couldn't have kept Billy away from the studio.
Right.
During the draft.
Oh yeah.
On Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Yeah, that knowledge that he has about all these different guys.
It's just so deep. And then, the guys back here, Hunter was sick, and still we could send him stuff and he would post on social media and schedule everything and make it look like we knew what we were doing, because otherwise we'd have been just barfing stuff into the social verse. And Hunter actually had a plan and actually had things paced out, and Hunter contributed even though he wasn't on site, which was kudos to you, because he could have just said, nah, I'm not
as much as
it.
I could was trying to help from afar.
It was incredible. Armin Sarian, the Iron Man of the board, the Packer Radio Network. He is both our lovable mascot and just the guy that it's impossible not to like Armin and to marvel at what he did, keeping a cool head in the command center here with all the moving parts that were going on. And then he had help here with David Gasper and Nick Bruzewitz and the Polish Pipe Bomb doing what the Polish Pipe Bomb does all the time, because we were still putting on baseball post-game shows for a lot of the weekend, and what he was doing filling in on shows. Our whole team, our newest pair of hands, Trevor Thomas. Getting to know Trevor has been awesome. He just brings energy. It's just a great vibe. He reads the room. He's fit in immediately with what we do. And he's just a great dude to get to know. So if you'll hear him this week filling in for Heller, you might hear him filling in when KB and Hunter and I go on vacation at some point. I'd gladly turn the keys of this show over to Trevor because he gets it. He is just a terrific dude. He gets it. Great addition. His energy was great when he was filling in for Billy on the Daily Show. So our whole team deserves a gigantic game ball. And, maybe we don't say it enough, but we appreciate each other. But I'm proud to be part of this team and just kind of sucked up in the wake. So let's give the entire 97.3 The Game team a game ball today.
How about this atmosphere?
All right, Drew, that's enough of that crap. Let's get to it. Let's really get to it. But no, it was, I'm telling you,
you're right.
Epic. And just to all the people, we saw so many of our fans, smart, good-looking listeners, people that stopped out at Buffalo Wild Wings. Let's give a game ball to Buffalo Wild Wings. Jenny.
How about this atmosphere?
They're terrific. Took good care of us 4 days in a row of football feasting in that environment that we're so used to. The tent outside was I'll admit, it was a little chilly on Friday. Damp and drizzly, but then it cleared up and it was phenomenal. So just the visuals were great. Hunter, you had to be blown away because you've been to Lambeau, and just to see the vistas, and we knew it would look cool,
right?
But it exceeded expectations on every front.
When those aerial shots started happening on Thursday night, right around the start of, it's about 7:00, and you started to see the sea of people, and it looked like the Deer District when the Bucks won the title, in 2021. It was I know some people put both of those pictures side by side out on social media, and it really was. And it just, all the just the different views and really, and I know you guys were able to experience more of the detail they went. I heard that they would light up things like the color for each team that was drafting. They'd light up the lights of the color or of the
just little subtle things like that that you didn't notice, and then you notice and go, "That's really cool."
Yeah,
they really put a lot into this.
That I only know that because you guys were saying it on the air. So I as a viewer at home, you weren't able to experience that, but so many people were able to get up there, and it sounded like everything went smoothly. And then, honestly, there's times in sports where things just come together. And it creates this moment that you can't really describe the moment. There's different, over the years you experience them. the Packers drafting a wide receiver in the first round with Mark Murphy announcing it in Green Bay. That was you couldn't have asked for a better story and a better draft pick in that moment. If you would have said before the draft, what position would provide the most excitement at Lambeau Field for the NFL draft in Green Bay, wide receiver would have got 99% of the vote. And boom, they went out and they get the wide receiver. And Mark Murphy announcing everything about that moment was one of those moments that that'll stick in your mind forever.
I wholeheartedly agree, because the only way it would have gotten more electric is if they had traded up in the draft.
Sure.
To move up to take maybe Ted McMillan or even Matthew Golden.
Sure.
The same guy at a higher spot. To trade up, then it would have been. But the fact that they waited and didn't have to give up any assets,
right,
made it perfect. We were kind of tipped off, and we heard a lot of rumors at the Super Bowl. You're talking to people, and there was the rumors about Ireland, and they're going to go play the Steelers. Maybe it's still out there. Like I heard Matt LaFleur say last week that I wouldn't be surprised if they signed Rodgers if we ended up playing them over there. But one of the rumors that we heard was that Mark Murphy was going to make the Packers' first pick. And if I had one game ball, we have unlimited game balls here. We have a really good deal with Wilson or whoever. Man, I don't know. Is it Rawlings? Wilson makes the NFL football.
Wilson,
right?
I think, yeah.
Rawlings is the baseball guys. But if we had one game ball to give, I would give it to Packers president and CEO Mark Murphy, because that draft doesn't happen in Green Bay without him. He's been at the wheel. It was like a 10-year build. The entire Titletown district and development. I think that a lot of the people who went to the draft and walked around kind of the draft campus, they're calling it, walked around Lambeau Field, and a lot of people never get to see that side of the stadium.
Yeah.
Where there's apartments and condos and there's a football field and the sledding hill. They don't get to see what it is, right? And I think a lot of people would have been blown away just to see that for the first time, but then to see it in this context, absolutely huge. And Mark Murphy, it doesn't happen without him. July 13th, he turned 70. He's forced to retire by Packers bylaws. This was his crowning achievement. Like the Super Bowl, sure, but crowning achievement was this event. And the fact that the Packers are a beacon in the league, highly regarded by the league, and other teams are coming in and trying to figure out how they can buy up land around their stadiums and develop what kind of a facsimile of what the Packers have done up there.
It also just felt right. The NFL draft, and you could probably talk to this more than I could being there, but the NFL draft being in Green Bay makes sense. Like, I'm sorry, but if it's going to, Carolina or, Atlanta, like, great, it's a big city. All right. It's a great event. All right. Big city gets big event again. Okay. But it makes sense. I mean, it's the mecca of football. It's Lambeau Field. It's Green Bay, Wisconsin. Yep. It makes sense for the draft to be there.
It does.
It felt right.
It does. And for first-time guests and people who, again, we're spoiled. It's here. It's and I just go back to what Cliff Crystal has said. It's the greatest story in sports history. Yeah. The fact that the Packers exist in that market in a city of 100,000, and to put on a party like that, to draw over 600,000 people over the 3 days it's spectacular. And so, yes, it's like Mark Murphy. And then for him to say, like you said, the dramatic pause of whoever kind of wrote that for him and said, for the first time, that added to it. And that was a layer. And we did get people, and I got texts and like, he's just sticking it to Rodgers right there for doing. No, he wasn't. It was well timed. So. Yeah. He was playing to the crowd. It was perfect. Having Mark do that was a great moment. And I had heard that. We had heard that at rumblings at the Super Bowl, and then I heard rumblings on Thursday afternoon that he was going to make the pick, which now imagine in an alternate universe, and this is something that we brought up on Friday with the great Wayne Larrivee, and I got to include Wayne in the game balls for staying with us at the house and just being a regular one of the dudes. Wayne is like 10 of our favorite people on the Drew and KB show. He is just incredible to hang with. I love me some Wayne Larrivee. Everybody who listens to him knows how great he is, but he's as great off the air as he is on the air.
Yeah, 100%.
I can't even tell you how awesome it is having to talk to Wayne. But we were told that moment could happen and that it would be, but I asked Wayne and I said, if this draft had been in Cleveland or in Nashville, you tell me the Packers don't look at that board and say, look at all these guys. We only got 8 picks. We're trading down, right? That would have been, I think they would have collected more picks and gotten out of that pick, but they weren't going to do that. with Mark Murphy and
Right.
the thing there. It wasn't going to happen. That's one of those unknowables. We'll never know. But they were on the phone a long time before they made the pick. They ran the clock down more than I think almost any team in the first round.
And there was, Doug and Wayne were talking about it on the air too, and Billy, and they were kind of getting worried. The clock's down a minute and a half here. What are they going to trade out of it? What are they going to do? And it was, like you said, just perfect that they went out and they made the draft pick and they made the pick there, and the Packers fans that were there, because what do you think the percentage was? 80, 90% Packers fans?
I would venture to say yes.
Yeah.
Based on the representation. Wisconsin showed out. I don't know how they can do it demographically, I guess through the One Pass app. Is tell where people live and where they're from, or a lot of times at big events you do license plate checks and stuff like that. But man, it was mostly Wisconsin people. I'm not surprised by that because again, we've talked about it. It was awesome, and it's a Times Square atmosphere, Deer District atmosphere. But when you get right down to it, it's the reading of names for 4 hours. They read 32 names in 4 hours, and we were there and riveted because the NFL knows how to put on a show and the Packers know how to put on a party. 877-794-1973 gets you to the NicoletLaw.com talk and text line. Game balls and kicks to the balls today. Again, this draft was a home run. There might be some people with some little nitpicky things, and I guess in the interest of balance and fairness, if you've got some of those, hit us with them. But for me, the grade for the draft as an event. Remember how we were all worried when they announced it was going to be in Green Bay that it could be snowy. You never know in April, and the weather was not great on Friday during the day, but people toughed it out. It was rain. It wasn't snowing. It wasn't horrible. And Saturday during the day was beautiful.
Yeah.
Abs Chamber of Commerce Saturday, and even Thursday the draft was like it got a little chilly when you're standing around, but it wasn't unbearable. And that just showed, again, the Packers are a beacon in a lot of ways for the league, but for any small market or smaller market that wants to host the draft, and they all will now, based on what the Packers did.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to want it.
Right. If Green Bay can do it, anybody can do it.
Absolutely. All right. Here's a text from Mike from Merrill. He said, this draft and the overwhelming numbers, I understand there are numerous teams, fans in attendance, just cemented the fact that this is America's team. Suck it, Jerry Jones. Okay.
There you go.
I like that.
I don't disagree.
Yeah. Bryce wants to know if we think that was a measuring stick for the possibility of being a host city for the Super Bowl. Bryce, we've had everybody, Mark, everybody said that we can't have a Super Bowl here. There is no chance of a Super Bowl occurring in Green Bay.
Yeah.
As great as it would be in theory, no, not going to be happening. Matt and Beaver Dam, game ball. We took Ubers all weekend and traffic was perfect.
How about this atmosphere?
Yeah. I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
We Ubered around a little bit.
Not a lot of complaints about traffic at all.
No. And there was parking. Like we were a block away and there was parking on our street. People were finding ways. Now, some people are homeowners were enterprising. We're charging $100 a car.
Sure.
More power to them. When you're that close, you can do it.
Yeah.
And the draft was free.
Mm-hmm.
So if you got 4 people in your car, it's $25 a person to park. That wasn't that bad a deal either. It was a little bit of sticker shock here because we're cheap cheesers. And you might never see that again. Like people don't charge that on game days. The NFC Championship game, they don't charge $100 to park in their parking, in their driveway, in their garage, or in their yard. So this was a special circumstance. I did not stay for the Brad Paisley show, but I heard it was good. I didn't stick around.
Yeah, I saw a video or two of it. And it looked great.
The concert.
Mm-hmm.
So
nice night for it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Perfect. So yeah, the draft as itself, it's in the books. It's something that we're going to look back on. And I would ask, and I've heard some people throw this out there. What is the best and like most exciting, biggest, the best non-game sporting event that you've attended? Is it an event? Like, would you say, like, what's the coolest, best non-game thing that you've ever attended? Like some people would say going to Cooperstown, or going for an induction, or going to a Canton to see a Packer inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
If you can think of one, I was trying to think of in my own personal Rolodex of memories, what is like my best non-game event that I've covered. And there've been a lot. I've seen some retirements. Like for some, it might be the Bucks championship parade.
Sure.
or the 82 Brewers parade. But if you could hit me with that, because if jog my memory a little bit, I've been lucky enough to have a press credential for a lot of cool stuff in this thing that I call a career. And I don't know, I don't know that anything can top what we saw this weekend for a non-game sports related event. Like you can say, oh, I went to the Derby, I went to the Indy 500. That's a game. That's an event, right? But this is a non-game event. And I think this has to go to the top of my list and probably everybody's list. But I'd be interested if someone can bring up something that they've been to that was, different. With the non-game is the key phrase there. The coolest non-game event that you have been to. Maybe it was a victory parade.
Yeah.
I mean, and that even kind of excludes the atmosphere that you talked about with the Deer District, because this draft was like it was like the Deer District. It was like the KB put it very well when he said Times Square on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
You're standing around like, you're waiting for the ball to drop, but it's just an event and a party, and there's like concerts and stuff going on. That it had that flair to it. It had, it had the hint enough NFL and the different fans coming together. You saw a lot of people wearing other teams' gear, which was really cool. Fantastic weekend. A+. Now we'll dig into the nuts and bolts of the players that the Packers drafted and getting Matthew Golden and the rest of the guys that'll be coming in to add some competition. We'll dig into that as we move forward. We'll also talk about Dame and the Bucks and the heartbreak of losing Dame Lillard, and the Bucks are at an absolute crossroads when this season ends, because it's going to end, if not Tuesday, not long after tomorrow night, it will end. And then the Bucks are in they have some huge decisions to be made. This is arguably the biggest Bucks offseason in the history of the franchise. We'll talk about that as we move forward. When we come back, though, we're going to catch up with one of our favorites on the program. Isn't that safe to say, Hunter?
I would say so.
Our pal Wes Hodkiewicz from Packers.com is going to join the party. We'll get his thoughts about what happened, and great guy to talk to anytime, anything related to the Packers, but especially as a guy who grew up in Green Bay, a guy who's seen the transformation and seen it firsthand. We're going to talk to Wes next. We'll continue to take your thoughts. 877-794-1973. Off and running with the Monday edition of the show you didn't know you can't live without. It's Drew and KB statewide on the game.
At the game, we're big fans of friends with benefits.
Excuse me?
So, friend, get a fully loaded tailgate and ticket to Brewers and Cardinals Friday night, June 13th for just $45. Brewers, Cardinals, and the tailgate for just $45. Get it? Friends with benefits.
That was pretty funny.
Get your tickets now at 973thegame.com/Brewers.
People can't stop screaming about Screamin' Sicilian frozen pizza. And no wonder. There's plenty to scream about, like the buttery stone-fired crust, secret recipe tomato sauce, mounds of whole milk mozzarella, and tons of premium toppings. Find Screamin' Sicilian in your local grocer's frozen aisle and find out for yourself why Sport called Screamin' Sicilian Holy Pepperoni Frozen Pizza the best of the best. Screamin' Sicilian. Taste what all the screaming is about.
iHeartRadio Earth is here with a new way to enjoy our beautiful planet. Reduce your impact on the environment this fall by packing a waste-free lunch for school or work. Avoid foods with excessive packaging. Use reusable cutlery, napkins, cups, bags, and containers, and recycle or compost any waste when possible. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and the National Environmental Education Foundation. To find more tips for smarter, sustainable living, or to take action in your own community, go to iHeartRadio.com/Earth.
Hey, it's Drew Olson, and I have to tell you, I could not be happier with our new 97.3 The Game broadcast studio built by Reamer Remodel. It has been a game changer. And thanks to the Reamer Remodel team, RIEMER remodel.com.
At Potawatomi, where ways to win are endless, another chance to capture epic cash and prizes comes Friday, June 27th. It's the season finale blockbuster drawings. Watch your entries from Enchanted Spins, Unreal Treasures, and Boundless Bounty come together for drawings where $300,000 in cash and prizes is there for the taking. Be there to win your share. June 27th only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. More info online. Must be 21 years old to play.
What's up? It's Russell Nicolay with Nicolay Law. You're listening to 97.3 The Game, the #1 sports talk station in Milwaukee. For award-winning injury lawyers when you're injured, you call Nicolay Law or visit us at nicolaylaw.com. Get the beard, get the win.
Brian Butch from Zabin Butch in the Morning. Sock it to stinky feet with some free Iron Jock socks and take 35% off the best performance apparel on the planet. I would know. I've traveled the world throughout my basketball career, and Iron Jock is hands down my favorite. It's comfortable, fashionable. It has 24/7 odor protection, and it's woven with 4-way stretch, 10% spandex to give you the absolute best feel with the best odor and fabric protection in the industry. And now through May 11th, when you buy $50 or more of Iron Jock performance apparel, use promo code SPRING35 to take 35% off your entire order. That's right. Take 35% off your entire order, and you'll receive free Iron Jock socks as a bonus. That's promo code SPRING35 now through May 11th, which happens to be Mother's Day. Iron Jock makes fantastic women's apparel too. Just saying. So take the Brian Butch Challenge and stock up on your favorite Iron Jock gear now through May 11th. Go to ironjock.com. That's ironjoc.com. On behalf of myself and Paul Hansen, happy Mother's Day, Iron Jock Nation.
Drew Wilson here for Pep's Draft House Pizza, the official pizza of the Timeout Sports Lounge and the Drew and KB Show. When you're hungry for a pizza, take it to the house and pair your favorite beer for a true Draft House experience at home. With 3 crust options, original hand-tossed, crunchy thin crust, and new rising crust options, it's easy to live your best frozen pizza life with Pep's Draft House Pizza. My personal favorite is the Brawlin' Buffalo Chicken paired with an American Pale Ale. The perfect combination, delivering a knockout punch you won't be able to resist.
Another checkup? Why are so many people getting new puppies?
Dr. Kim's veterinary office is littered with cuteness.
We are booked solid for weeks, but who can say no to a puppy, right? Oh, who's a good boy? Oh, who's what? Oh,
She needs to find extra vet techs to get those pups some extra love.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Worried about your battery and the heat? We get it. You don't want to get stranded somewhere with a car that feels like an oven. We've got you covered at AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Our free battery testing and charging service can help. And if you need a battery, we'll help you find a new one. No problem. Power through with free battery testing and charging at AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
All about the presets.
That is the best new feature. It's like a car radio right on the app. There's a list of what's trending. There's all the podcasts. I love it.
Get in on what everyone's talking about and get the new and improved free iHeartRadio app today.
Alexa, play Drew and KB now on iHeartRadio.
One last go, Pack, go. Yeah. All right, the Roy Butler Hall of Famer is going to lead it. Go, Pack, go. Go, Pack, go. Go, Pack, go. Go, Pack, go. Go, Pack, go.
Got to give Mark a lot of props. I thought, as far as the operation, I can't imagine any NFL draft being better than the one we hosted here. So it was pretty epic.
There you have Mark Murphy, Matt LaFleur bringing us back. Drew and KB from the Iron Jock Studios inside the Megaplex. We welcome to the program that guy over there, that gentleman called KB.
Hey, what's going on, brother, man?
Well,
sorry.
No worries. You were excused absence. You called your shot. No
yes,
problem.
I did.
We're going to be joined by Wes Hodkowitz momentarily, but first, I want to tell people here's your chance to win some bonus bucks. Win $1,000 by entering the nationwide keyword on the website 973thegame.com. It's 973thegame.com, and the code word this hour just happens to be green. Green Bay is a bow for a wonderful NFL draft.
How about it?
Code word is green. That works until 3:55, and then next hour we'll have another code word for you to enter, but the win some bonus bucks, $1,000 in your hand, whatever we call it, $1,000, 973thegame.com, and the keyword is green. Speaking of green, let's welcome one of our all-time favorites from the Green Bay Packers, greenbaypackers.com, a Green Bay native. Wes Hodkowitz joins us right now on the nicolaylaw.com talking text line. Wes, thank you. I imagine you slept pretty well last night, given we were running on fumes. I can't even imagine what it's like for you living up there and being part of it.
Yeah, I overslept. This is wow. By the way, this is new territory for me, boys. I am an old school journalist. I'm used to the cell phones, Now I'm looking at all your beautiful faces. I love it. No, it was a great weekend, Drew. It was an incredible weekend. And you kind of said it in the intro to this segment. For someone like me that grew up here, was born and raised here, went to college here, worked at the Press Gazette, got the job here with the Packers, to be able to walk around on Thursday and see everything, the structures that they had built, the local community businesses that were coming out, the restaurants. I mean, walking around the stadium, it was such an incredible atmosphere. I didn't want to jinx anything. I didn't want to say anything until Saturday was over, but I cannot think of any way it could have been any better.
Green Bay really was the little town that could.
It really was.
No, I mean, I was blown away because I think we all thought, and I think a lot of it was the media talking, not the Green Bay media, but national media. Green Bay's too small. How are they going to pull this off? There isn't this, there isn't that. And I'll tell you something. I don't think for a minute that it showed any different than it did in Nashville or it did in Detroit or it did anywhere else. You could see the excitement. You could see everybody packed in. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go a step further and say it was better than Nashville and it was better than Detroit.
Yeah.
And I will say that because, well, better than Nashville, definitely. Nashville, they put it, on South Broadway, which is a tourist attraction. We had it right in the footprint of Lambeau Field, and Lambeau Field looked glorious. The only thing that could have made it better would have been a light snow.
Don't push our luck there, KB.
Yeah, bite your tongue.
No, but I mean, obviously you wouldn't want that. But that's the only thing that could have made it more of a picturesque scene.
Listen, boys, I said this the day that the Packers were awarded the draft in May of 23, and there were a lot of critics out there. I said, I cannot wait to see this city shine. And I felt like it did. To me, it was like Woodstock. Yeah, you can have all these great big cities with all their stadiums and all their metropolitan stuff, but Green Bay, Wisconsin, that campus that they built, it's almost like it was built specifically for an NFL draft. You're able to leverage the Resch Center, the Resch Expo that was built in 2022. You have Titletown. There were kids running everywhere in Titletown. My son came out for it. And being able to also have the asset of Lambeau Field for restrooms, for concessions, for when there was raining on Friday, people being able to get inside a little bit. Again, I just felt there was, I don't want to call it disrespect because people only know what they know and what they don't know. But the fact is if you live in this community, if you live in Wisconsin, you realize what sports means to us, what these teams mean to us. And when everybody pulls together collectively, I just felt like it was a total team effort, community effort, statewide effort to make this thing happen.
Talking to Wes Hodkowitz, Packers.com here, Drew and KB. Okay, with all that said, the draft itself, when you get down to the brass tacks of picking players, we were talking about when people ask me my favorite moment of the draft, and I'm going to ask you for yours, but mine had to be the bow that Mark Murphy got to take and announce the pick. And to the fact that it was a wide receiver, just took it up 10 notches, right? And so to me, that is my, and there were a lot of great moments at the draft, maybe at our flop house, some great, some not so great.
There were a few great moments we can't talk about.
The moment, and it doesn't happen without Mark Murphy, the culmination. You mentioned a decade-long effort, Titletown, everything that they've built, that what we saw on display comes, I think, from Mark Murphy's desk. My logic might be flawed. You work in the building, but Wes, to me, that was the crowning moment. That's the one I'm always going to remember.
You're 1,000% right, Drew. And the thing I like, I'm mentioning this in our inbox, and I've talked about this the last couple of days. It was a 3-day event that was 10 years in the process. Like the moment that they announced that it was leaving Radio City Music Hall and they were going to travel it around to all these NFL cities, Green Bay was trying to get it. And they've been systematically positioning themselves with this, with, again, the Resch Expo, with Titletown, with the developments around Lambeau Field, not just the Packers, but I mean, the hotels that went up, the businesses that went up around here. It really was a major influx. And for me, watching this thing finally come together, it was really emotional to see Mark get that moment because, again, he had the misfortune in some ways of following in the footsteps of Bob Harlan. I mean, that is Babe Ruth. For what he did for this community, I owe my job to him, right? We, to some extent, being able to keep the Packers here, establish themselves for the future. He had a vision for this thing that I think Mark has only further built upon. And the other thing is too, I'm a big pro wrestling fan. I don't know if Mark's ever watched a day of WWE television, but I cannot think of any personnel executive, any NFL sports related person that has a better grasp of pro wrestling psychology than Mark. To go up there and have that playful little banter about drafting a receiver finally. I mean, the reaction to it, I don't think it could have been any better.
So what was Sunday like?
A lot of sleeping.
No, but I mean, what was the vibe, on Sunday? All of a sudden, you have this big event and then you hear the machines tearing stuff down and everything like that. And you had to be a little bit sad, right?
Oh, for sure, dude. I mean, it was weird for me because, okay, so we finish up the draft. We have a little promenade area that I ate my dinner at after we got done with the press conferences with Brian Gutekunst and Matt LaFleur. And it overlooks the east side of Lambeau Field, like over by where the stage was. So I didn't see the Brad Paisley concert, but I watched the end of it, and watching them immediately, people flock out, and within an hour, they're already deconstructing everything.
Oh, yeah.
It's a process that'll happen throughout the week. It's still happening as we speak, directly on the other side of this wall over here that I'm looking at. So, but yeah, I think it's a little, it's tough because it's like you saw this thing get constructed for a month. I've talked to NFL people around here who have been here since the end of March, getting this thing up and running, and you don't know when, if it'll be back again. I definitely think, after seeing the crowd, seeing the response and the ability and the ease of access for the NFL, I put out a playful tweet with one of my videos of them taking down the stage saying, hey, NFL, hopefully see you again here soon. Let us know.
Yeah, bring it back.
So after the Mark Murphy announcement, what was your favorite part of the draft? Because mine was watching Shedeur Sanders drop like a rock.
Well, that was not mine, but I can understand some people saying that.
And here's the thing. If you were in the crowd, you weren't aware of that because you weren't watching Mel Kiper argue with his colleagues.
Right.
The best part of that, though, Drew, I don't know a whole lot about what happened with Sanders because the Packers weren't going to be taking him, so I wasn't very interested in it. But you know how it is in the media room where they put the TV up of the coverage and there's no sound because we're going through all these press conferences and Zoom calls and everything. And all you see is just demonstrably Mel Kiper losing his mind. It didn't even matter what he was saying, but just the way he was looking was just incredible. But the other aspect, whoa, and that gets really bright. The other aspect of this that I thought was really cool was everything that happened with Baron Sorrell on Saturday for this young man and getting to understand his story. And we'll learn more about it in the days ahead. But for this guy to bring himself to Green Bay, sit in the green room all day Friday, and then finally get that moment. And kudos to Roger Goodell too, coming out looking like he just got off the golf course with his get up and being willing to have that moment with him. And for that guy to get picked by the team that the city is the host of for the draft, I thought was a really cool moment. And then obviously you guys probably saw the press conference too, how emotional he got when talking about his family. That's again, as I've said it numerous times, that's what this thing's all about.
Yeah, if you didn't know, like we didn't know, obviously, but the Packers draft on character and they look for guys that are going to be fits. And if you didn't know that, like this guy that bet on himself sent himself to the draft and was there and then embraced immediately and got to live. That tells you something about him right there. Wes, I would have bet, and I said this on Friday's show, I would have bet my house that the Packers, after taking Matthew Golden, would have gone defense and they would have addressed needs on defense and given Jeff Hafley some toys on day 2. And I said, but being the Packers, they'll probably throw us a curveball and take a lineman and a taller wide receiver. And what did they do? A lineman and a taller wide receiver.
Yeah.
So of these guys, the new players, you mentioned a guy right there that some of them are going to impact on special teams. There's going to be some competition at spots. They've got a lot of depth now at wide receiver, which folks were worried about because of Watson's injury. Where are the Packers better in this draft? If we actually look at the nuts and bolts and the 8 players they've added, where did they get better?
Well, I really like the Anthony Belton selection. It is interesting. He definitely is a different type of body type that they've taken that high. They've typically gone with the really athletic, somewhat leaner type of tackles. He is a full-on road grader. When you look at him on tape with, I think, a developing pass protection set, he is a massive man. And if it works out, if they can refine him, I mean, he has everything you look for in a prototype for a 10-year offensive tackle in this league. Again, we'll have to see where it all goes. The Savion Williams one was probably the only one that surprised me, just because they had taken Golden. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, here comes the edge rusher, maybe a cornerback. But 6'4", 222 pounds, runs in the 4.4s, the high end of it. and he can be used as a running back on power sweeps and that. Well, in that way, he probably does fit Matt LaFleur's offense and what the Packers want to do really well. They got deeper at receiver and they got deeper on the offensive line, which when you make those type of investments on the first 2 days, you fully expect. I cannot wait to watch that competition play out, though, because there are no jobs given with the starting offense right now. Each one of those receivers and maybe 3 of the offensive linemen are set, but there's so many jobs that are going to be up for grabs now this summer.
Yeah. Auditions for left tackle and right guard, right? I mean, and I said throughout the week that we forget the Packers are getting 2 kind of bonus rookies in Jordan Morgan and Marshawn Lloyd because we get to see them last year. So it's like getting another new toy coming in.
100%. And watching, Morgan, hopefully everything checks out all right with the shoulder. It was tough to watch him go through that recurring issue last year. Certainly he's still in the cards. Brian even said it afterwards. They still expect him to be in this competition at left tackle with Rasheed Walker. Marshawn Lloyd is the one I'm most excited about, really, out of any of these guys, because it was less than a year ago that Daniel Jeremiah was talking about this is the best running back in this class, and the Packers got him in the 3rd round. And I think you've seen him before, Drew. I mean, just the way he's built at, just about my height, around that 5'9", 5'10" mark, but he's 225 pounds of just muscle. The low center of gravity there and his ability to make guys miss. We only got to see it in one regular season game, but yeah, there's a reason why the Packers didn't add anybody at the running back position. They're about as deep as they've been there, I think, during my time on the beat.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Goody said going in, he liked his team, and he did. And clearly it was just like around the edges, bolster some things, but they are going to have some competition from within. And that's always good. That gives us something to watch in camp, because the last couple camps have been like, most of the positions are set.
Yeah.
Let me see if these rookies can play. Oh, now they're playing for their jobs and their futures beyond just next year. A lot of the guys.
Yep. You look at the edge rushing situation too. There's a starting job and there's 3 rotational spots behind it. Who's going to emerge?
Yep. It's going to be amazing. Wes, thank you for joining us.
Wes.
Go get some rest. What a job you guys did. Kudos to everybody.
Yep.
The civic pride was on display. And I've always said, and Wes, you'll appreciate this. This isn't a dig, but if the Packers said, we're going to cut the grass at Lambeau Field for the first time this spring and it's free, they would draw 30,000 people.
Yeah, probably.
No, as long as they were selling beer and you could come in and see Lambeau,
there you
they
go.
would do that. And this was 600,000 people, which was,
unbelievable.
I'm still wrapping my brain around it. Thanks a lot, Wes. We appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. We will continue Game Balls and Kicks of the Balls Monday on the Drew and KB program. And our buddy Reegs is going to join us to give us his final recap and perhaps a draft grade. We let him talk about his mock drafts. We'll let him talk about his grades. That's coming up at 4:30. And then 5 o'clock, we got our winner of the Pep's Ultimate Draft House Pizza for a Year contest.
There you go.
Right? That's going to be
big day.
Pretty awesome. Yeah. Well, we're gonna take care of that as well. Continue to take your game balls and kicks of the balls throughout. You got Drew and KB statewide on the game.
Hi, Matt LePay, your friendly game announcer for Ridgetop Exteriors. Is your home ready to stand out this season? Ridgetop Exteriors, Wisconsin's trusted name in home improvement, does more than just top-quality roofing. They're your go-to for maintenance-free siding and energy-efficient windows. Ridgetop has expert credentials with leading manufacturers like Pella, James Hardie, and LP Smart Siding. For over 20 years, they've delivered exceptional craftsmanship and service. Call Ridgetop Exteriors today or visit ridgetopexteriors.com for your free consultation. Ridgetop Exteriors, where customer service always comes first.
Zabe and Butch in the morning.
Hey, join us Tuesday. We get ready for the Bucks Pacers Game 5. Plus, Ty Windish and Hunter will talk Brewers. We'll see you bright and early.
Zabe and Butch, weekday mornings after 6 on the Game.
They say seeing is believing. And when you check out what's waiting for you at American Place Casino, you'll definitely believe you'll love it. From thrilling gaming to top-notch service, we're changing the game. Come play all your favorites like blackjack, craps, roulette, and the latest slots. Catch a game at the sportsbook, enjoy great restaurants, bars, and more. If you're ready for excitement, exceptional service, and an experience you'll never forget, then we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game. Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER.
I gave it a shot, and I came in and had the procedure done. To me, it was amazing because I don't think I ever breathed that clear. I wish I would have done it 20 years ago.
A lot of law firms claim to be experts at handling injury cases that involve large trucks. But handling one trucking case does not make you an expert on the subject. Experience matters in these cases. One local firm has handled 25 trucking cases which resulted in payments over $1 million each, and hundreds of others as well. Because Wisconsinites know who to call when it's a must-win scenario. They call Havish, Havish & Rotier. National reputation, hometown service.
All right, team, listen up. Merle the Squirrel's here to tell you why Capital's duck cleaning is a game changer.
What did he say?
He said, if you haven't cleaned your ducts in 5 years, you're breathing in all kinds of junk. And unlike those companies who use glorified shop vacs, we use high-powered trucks to clean your ducts the right way.
Yeah, makes sense. Cleaner ducts, cleaner air, healthier home.
Exactly.
Schedule your duct cleaning today and save $200. That's right, save $200.
Call CapitalCares.com.
Tired of feeling like you're in a fishbowl every time you hit the road? It's time to tint your windows. Tinting your windows will not only block harmful UV rays, but also reduces glare and keeps your car cooler on those scorching summer days. We offer a lifetime warranty on film and installation. Charisma offers a color-stapled film that makes your vehicle look great, and a ceramic film that blocks 99% of UV rays and 85% of sun's heat. Ceramic window film is the best you can get and keeps you cool in blistering summer heat. 262-444-2525. CharismaCustoms.com.
Spring into deals with fresh savings at Lowe's. Right now, get 5 Stay Green or premium 2 cubic foot mulch bags for just $10. Plus, get up to 35% off select major appliances and save $50 on every $500 you spend on select LG appliances. Shop in-store or online today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 4/30. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See associate or Lowe's.com for more details or qualifying items. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Watching Clorox cleanup spray dissolve tough grime in the shower feels like...
Wait, this really just happened? I'm shocked. Underwear and everything?
It feels like being able to zip up your overpacked suitcase on the first try.
Smooth.
With Clorox, clean feels satisfying. Clean feels good. Use as directed.
The Fox 6 weather experts are presented by AdventKnows.com.
Warm and windy today with high temperatures in the 70s and low 80s. There is a chance for thunderstorms, some of which could be severe, especially along a cold front tonight. Quieter on Tuesday with decreasing clouds and highs in the 60s. I'm Fox 6 meteorologist Stephanie Barrichello.
This report is sponsored by First Choice Heating and Cooling.
This energy bill can't be right.
Don't let old systems drain your budget. First Choice Heating offers 5 years of 0% payment options on new installation. Select systems only. Visit firstchoiceheating.com today.
Preset. Save.
We're already a preset in your car, I assume.
Preset number 1. Never a doubt.
And we've brought it to the iHeartRadio app.
Simply click the button labeled Preset.
Our station gets anchored to the top of your app.
97.3 The Game. Added.
Savion Williams, touchdown.
I think me and Matthew Golden Gang gonna complement each other well. It's crazy because I hosted Matthew when he was in high school, my sophomore year. I hosted him when he was on his visit at TCU, and he was thinking about committing. That's the crazy part. But yeah, man, me and Matt, we talk, every now and then, but not all the time. But man, I know we gonna get close.
He's the newest Packers wide receiver, Savion Williams, because he was drafted after Matthew Golden. Going to be rookies together. It's amazing how sports works in circles. He hosted him on his recruiting visit and other teammates in the National Football League. Drew and KB with you from the Iron Jock studio inside the Megaplex. It's a new week. Oh, a new sale at Iron Jock. Spring into Mother's Day with Iron Jock. Buy $50 or more of Iron Jock men's and women's performance apparel. You can get 35% off your entire purchase using the promo code SPRING35. That is SPRING35 at ironjoc.com. And if you use it, Paulie Hansen will throw in a pair of free socks as a bonus. Shipping is free. Go to ironjoc.com. This deal works now through May 11th. KB's in the house, taking your game balls and kicks to the balls, 877-794-1973. The draft obviously commanded most of the attention, which was good for the Brewers based on the fact the way they played, stumbled out of the gate. They did avoid a 5-game losing streak by winning yesterday on Getaway Day in St. Louis. And of course, the Bucks are on the brink of extinction elimination with the horrific Dame Lillard Achilles injury. I don't have to remind people. We have talked about the Achilles injury being the bane of our existence and seeing Dame succumb to it.
As you age, that is the worst.
When he was sitting on the floor and couldn't get up, the first thing I thought was he blew out his Achilles. And lo and behold, the worst fears confirmed this afternoon. The Bucs announced he's got a ruptured Achilles. Best case, that's a 6-month absence for a guy who's going to turn 35 in not too long. Yeesh, that is just a rough one to swallow for the Bucs. They were getting the rest of the game, that momentum swing in the game of like the Bucs Daubers being down and Indiana being buoyed by it, that offset what looked like it was a good crowd. I did not go to the game. I watched it at Stately Olson Manor. But man, that was all kinds of depressing to watch Dame go down like that. And now the season will end tomorrow night, or it's shortly thereafter.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they can. They did win 8 in a row without Dame at the end of the season, right? Can they get back to that? Does it matter? Can they win another series? No, I don't think. Bucs are going to be at an incredible crossroads very soon. They're going to reach a fork in the road. What happens with Doc? What happens with Giannis? What happens?
I think you can.
Dame is not going anywhere.
I think you can see the fork from here.
Yeah, it's going to be wild. Going to be wild. That is, well, conversations for another day, I guess. And, well, I'll have some kicks to the balls from the Bucs game, not related to the injury. But if you've listened to us for any amount of time, and our buddy Trevor is recovering from an Achilles injury that he had a year ago, he's still getting after it. We'll talk about that as we move forward. Drew and KB statewide on the game.
97.3 The Game. This is what's trending in Milwaukee now.
This sports update is brought to you by American Place Casino. Nonstop excitement just over the Wisconsin border in Lake County, Illinois. I'm Dave Gasper. The Milwaukee Bucks got some horrible news last night. Not only did they fall to the Pacers 129-103, they also lost Damian Lillard in the first quarter after he suffered an Achilles injury. The Bucks are on the brink of elimination as the series turns back to Indiana. The Green Bay Packers walked away from the 2025 NFL Draft with 8 selections. The Packers added 2 wide receivers, 2 offensive linemen, 2 edge rushers, a defensive tackle, and a cornerback. And the Milwaukee Brewers got back on track Sunday afternoon with a 7-1 win over the St. Louis Cardinals to avoid a sweep. The Brewers are off today before beginning a 3-game series in Chicago against the White Sox. I'm Dave Gasper on Milwaukee's most listened to sports station, 97.3 The Game.
Don't miss your shot to win $1,000 in bonus bucks.
Bonus bucks.
Listen every hour, weekdays between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m.
Bonus bucks.
When you hear the nationwide keyword, enter it at our website.
Brought to you locally by ARR Recycling. Recycling pays. Go to ARR with your recyclable copper, brass, lead, steel, or aluminum and get cash. Visit them at ARR1938.com or stop in to the West Allis or Waukesha location. ARR Recycling since 1938.
Now, here's traffic from Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank. Call the Tri-City Total Traffic Tip Line at 414-944-5111.
Westbound on 94, slowing from 25th to Mitchell Boulevard, then out in Waukesha County. Got a stall on the exit ramp to Highway SS. Stay on the left side of that ramp to get by. I'm Kevin Henry, and that's your latest Total Traffic.
This report is sponsored by First Choice Heating and Cooling.
This heat is unbearable.
Keep your family comfortable with First Choice Heating. For a limited time, get $89 off your AC and heating tune-up. Milwaukee's trusted HVAC company, firstchoiceheating.com.
Bryant and Trent College's Wauwatosa campus now offers 20 intercollegiate athletic programs. Competing at the NJCAA Division II level gives Bryant and Trent College the opportunity to offer scholarships to student athletes. Learn more about Bryant and Trent College and Bobcats athletics at bscbobcats.com.
At Potawatomi, where ways to win are endless, another chance to capture epic cash and prizes comes Friday, June 27th. It's the season finale blockbuster drawings. Watch your entries from Enchanted Spins, Unreal Treasures, and Boundless Bounty come together for drawings where $300,000 in cash and prizes is there for the taking. Be there to win your share. June 27th only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. More info online. Must be 21 years old to play.
I'm at a smoothie bar asking people if they'd switch smoothies with me for $574.
Oh, I'll switch.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
That's a headache.
Nope, it's painless.
Oh, so it's easy money.
Yep, check Allstate first, and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide Free and Gentle provides an excellent Tide clean, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues like dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on your skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
Alzheimer's disease is the sixth leading cause of death in the country, and it's affecting almost 7 million Americans, including 110,000 people here in Wisconsin. UW-Madison is working hard to improve the lives of those affected, offering resources to educate and the latest in research and technology. The UW Initiative to End Alzheimer's has so many ways you can benefit, learn, get involved, and make a difference. Visit goalsforacure.org. That's goalsforacure.org.
Selling your home, it's one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. You could go it alone, trying to navigate market trends, determine fair pricing, and tackle tricky negotiations on your own. You could second guess every decision, wondering if you're doing it right. Then there's the showings, the offers, and the mountain of paperwork. Or you could work with the expertise of a realtor, here to guide and help protect as you make your next big move. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. Right by you.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Number one on your car radio preset and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. Broadcasting live from the Iron Jock Studios. This is WRNW-FM Milwaukee. 97.3 The Game.
Listen up. The ratings just came in for last month. We are number one. We just grabbed every key demographic. Yeah.
Live from the Iron Jock Studios and brought to you by Bryant and Stratton Athletics. It's the fastest growing sports and stuff show in the Midwest, led by two 23rd year seniors who have no interest in entering the transfer portal. It's Drew and KB.
I've never worked in a studio that had 10 glory holes going all at the same time.
There are two things that separate humans from animals. One, we can control our sexual tendencies. Two, when we eat, we use cutlery.
If I could have everybody's attention, we put together a little song and dance in honor of Drew.
I'm an executive by day and a wild man by night.
We don't care what KB says.
I am a mostly able-bodied, neurodivergent, obsessive-compulsive, chronically ill cat parent in mental health recovery.
Do you like lizards? Do you like snakes? Do you like tortoises? Do you like frogs?
Jesus is a friend of mine. Jesus is my friend. Jesus is a friend of mine. I have a friend in Jesus.
You're done. You're done. Your mom wears Skechers.
Give me a word, starting with the letter P. Somebody might do to your bottom.
Say penetrate.
I'm a clam guy. Only eat clams. That's all I do.
What the F?
Do you want to start drinking?
Yes.
You know, I'm going to have to go for 420, Bob.
Cheez-Its! Cheez-Its! Cheez-Its!
Light this candle.
He's right. Let's light this candle. Light the candle.
Rolling through a Monday afternoon in the Goodland. It's Drew and KB from the Iron Jock Studio, built by Reamer Remodel. I'm Drew Olson. Across the console, that's KB.
What's going on, brother man?
Hunter Baumgart here with us, back off the 10-day injured list. Less than that, but he was.
Felt like a 60-day.
60-day.
What was your illness like, Hunter?
It was a bad cold.
Okay, that's what I got.
Thanks for coming in and infecting us all.
I'm not by you. I'm over here.
Seems a lot of people in the house were getting that.
Touching doorknobs.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure everyone does.
Well, yeah, from bad sleep, lack of bad diet, bad sleep, bad everything. Yeah, I can see it. It tracks. Mm-hmm. It tracks.
And now Sue has it. So you're welcome.
Way to pay it forward.
Yeah, way to go, Hunter.
I guess. I don't even know when I would.
Hunter didn't infect us. It was probably something you picked up at the house or being around 600,000 people.
Yeah, because Mike had it.
Yeah. 877-794-1973 to the NicoletLaw.com talk and text line. Game balls and kicks to the balls. We opened the show. KB was making his way here, gave game balls to our entire staff. The coverage, I don't think anybody can do a more thorough job than we did covering the draft. And the guys during the draft itself, just for Billy and Doug and Wayne
killed it.
And Armin, just absolutely killed it. That just the volume, being on the air that long, it's crazy. The job that they did was awesome. We'll talk to Reegs and get his recap coming up at 4:30. We'll take your game balls and kicks the balls. I have a game ball, and I would like to present it for those of you who missed the opening of the show. Game balls and kicks the balls, a Monday tradition. Drew and KB. We play a little soundbite for both of them. Let's give a game ball, Hunter.
How about this atmosphere?
My game ball goes to Brewers skipper Pat Murphy for channeling his college coach and disciplining the young lads.
Yes.
Caleb Durbin and Sal Frelick both got pulled, benched for mental errors that are beneath big league players.
That's good.
Ability.
That's a good thing.
That was a good thing. I'm old enough to remember. Bobby Cox was managing the Braves in the late 90s, and they had a kid you may have heard of, Andrew Jones, playing center field.
He came up when he was like 18, didn't he?
He played, I think, 19. He played in the World Series at 19. And he let a fly ball. He was not focused and kind of let a fly ball land in front of him. And Bobby Cox hooked him in the middle of an inning from center field. The ultimate, hit him with the rolled up newspaper.
Oh, man.
And it's, and what happened? The guy went on. He's probably going to be in the Hall of Fame, probably going to get elected to the Hall of Fame next cycle. He's like at 66% of the 75 needed for Hall of Fame. So it just goes to show you, nobody's above that kind of correction. And hopefully it's a mistake you make only once. And with young players, for some reason, I was flipping around last night and Bull Durham was on. And it was the scene when Crash Davis tells the skipper, their kids, scare him. And he throws the bats in the shower and he lights them up. That's basically what Murph did. Needed? I think so. They had lost 4 in a row, right? Just a little bit of refocusing. Can't get picked off second. Right? Can't. You just can't.
No.
So I liked how Murph handled that. I don't know.
I mean,
you were watching it, Hunter. I know you were multitasking.
Yeah. Well, because first I'm like, oh no, is Sal hurt? Oh no, is Durbin right? It's
that's your first
Mitchell
thought.
had gone out the night before, and it's like, oh no, are they getting bit with the injury bug? But no, those two guys were just sitting next to each other at the on the top step of the little bench there in the dugout and thinking to themselves about what they did wrong, and then
absolutely
came
now
out
you
the next day and played well.
Now you go to your room and think about what you did, young man.
Yeah, they were in the Chateau Bow Wow, as we like to say. They were in the doghouse. All right, 877-794-1973 gets you in to the NicoletLaw.com talking text. And we got John in Fox Point on line 1. John, welcome to Drew and KB. Welcome to Game Balls and Kicks on this Monday.
Hey guys, how you doing? Great show.
Thank you, sir.
I just wanted to call to offer a little bit of a contrarian point of view on this event up in Lambeau. In fact, I fully acknowledge I'm probably a minority of one here, but I don't get it. I'm a huge Packer fan, by the way. I love the draft. I watch every hour of the TV coverage. I listen to you guys' show coverage. But I don't understand the attraction. You're up there for I'm not sure what. It's not a game. It's not an event. It's nothing to really.
It's not an event? When 200,000 people show up, it's not an event?
It is not an event because events are usually have something going on, like a game or a concert or whatever.
Is an award show an event? Is the Oscars?
Yeah, absolutely.
Millions of people watch the Oscars. Absolutely. What is that? It's the reading of names.
But they're not standing outside packed in with 200,000 other people in cold, drizzly conditions, waiting for their team, which is wild at every 32, to make a pick, which when they finally do announce it, they're probably not going to know who the guy is. And you can watch, I think,
okay.
I just don't get what you do there. What do you do? What do you
John,
do at these things? Other than
John, have you ever been to a tailgate party?
Okay,
what are you doing there? What are you doing at your tailgate party? You're standing there waiting. You're not in the event.
You can't tailgate at this thing. You're packed
Yes, you could. People tailgated.
There were people tailgating all over the
There were
place.
people at Buffalo Wild Wings. There were people all over the place.
Every parking lot you went by, there was someone who had a grill out.
Wait, and you
John,
watched the entire draft, and you're wondering about it.
Then they weren't watching the 200,000 people that were packed in front of the stage weren't tailgating. They were stuck.
Well, they were earlier.
They were on their way in.
And they were on their. Okay.
John, hey John, have you lived in Wisconsin all your life?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Well, then you should know us well enough. You give us an open piece of asphalt and beer.
They're going to stand there,
and we're going to stand there. No, we were talking about this too.
I couldn't agree more. But why would you want to drive for 2 hours in horrendous traffic, pay $200 to park in a spot that during a game you would pay $20 to $30?
No one paid $200 to park.
Someone was asking $200. It was empty.
It was in the paper.
And
I
they
saw
weren't.
one for 200.
Yeah.
I saw one for 200 and it was empty. Saw a bunch for 100. They weren't really full. The $50 ones were packed. Now, I will say this: why does a man climb Mount Everest? Because it's there.
It's there.
You get
stand and watch the draft.
You sit.
How? Why is it? Then why would you watch it on TV then?
Yeah. Why? Yeah. Why would?
Because I'm interested in the analysis, all of the film that you see on the plays, who they are. That's all that kind of stuff that you can't really get there. I mean, you can probably hear some of it.
I enjoyed the draft without hearing Mel Kiper complain about
Exactly.
Shedeur Sanders. I enjoyed it. There's music, there's programming, there's drinking. And I've said before, John, I don't know if you heard me tell Wes Hodkowitz, if the Packers were going to cut the lawn for the first time in the spring and it was free and they sold beer, they would draw 30 to 40,000 people because that's what
they do.
Okay, well, I can tell you, I would not be one of
it's in the fabric. Well,
that's
fine.
But
You do you, but
I have to think that deep down in their hearts, some of the people who went there were, who at one point or another said, maybe I should have stayed home and watched this on TV.
Well, I'm sure that some people did.
I don't know that because to say you were there, I mean, we've been talking about it as one of the great non-game experiences, and we're looking for more. What's the greatest non-game experience you've had in terms of sporting?
I think when you get older, you don't want to deal with the crowds. I'll be perfectly honest with you. As I'm looking at that, and we were mostly way in the back by where like McAfee and everyone was. We didn't go into the huddled masses, if you will.
Yeah, I did on night 2.
There's not a chance in hell I'm going into the middle of that. That's just not my scene. But I am glad that I was there.
Yeah,
seeing it. It really, it's one of these things where, you see it, you watch it on TV. Now, is it the NFL? And kudos to them. They've taken something that was, at ratings. Started out at the Marriott Marquis with 8 Jets fans, painted up.
And it was once held at the Schrader Hotel in downtown Milwaukee.
Right.
And conducted by phone.
Right. And they did that. They took that to this huge event, and it's everything they built around it. If you go there, they got they had the dive bar. They've got all these different places.
That's what John's missing. Like there was, what do you do? Like there were people there. There were people that got there at noon and stayed until it closed. Like they walked around. It was a ginormous campus of like, there's a dive bar. There's the prospect area. You could go watch exhibits
the
of
prospects.
rings,
you could go.
merch.
There was the Play 360 area. There was a,
it was like,
there was a fan experience.
There was plenty to do. There were people running 40-yard dashes and stuff like.
Right. It's not like you walked in and then just stood there.
No. And it was more than what you just saw of the masses looking at the stage. Like there was a whole village
on the other side of the building.
That's like saying, why would you go to a golf event? Like, why would you go to the Ryder Cup? It's better on TV. You can watch it on TV. Like you can only see one hole at a time, but it's more than that. Right. And there's something to be said for shared experiences of being in the crowd and the energy that comes with being in a crowd.
So when I got home, Sue said, she asked me, she goes, if you weren't working, would you have gone? And I couldn't honestly answer that. I said, I may have, but I can't tell you if I would have or not.
But you're glad you were there.
Oh, absolutely. I was.
Yeah.
It was the coolest thing ever.
It's a top, for me, it's one of the top things I've covered in this thing I call a career, especially a non-game thing.
And what was great, it was great to be a part of it. And you know what? There is a civic pride element there that after all year, everyone was doubting, whether or not Green Bay could pull it off. And it's almost like a lot of the people in Wisconsin said, damn you all to hell. We're going to show you how we can pull it off.
There are echoes to this of, let's look back just to the last summer in the RNC, right? They had the perimeter built up, and it's like a lot of the merchants were like, we didn't see any uptick in business. We brought on extra people and ordered more inventory and stuff, and we didn't see any uptick in business. Now, if you operate a mattress store in Green Bay and you thought that the people coming through was going to help your business, I don't know what to tell you. Like a tire store or a mattress store, some restaurants saw an uptick, others maybe didn't. And now some of your customers, your regulars, might have been at the draft and not been at your place for 3 days, right? Maybe some saw a dip, but that's in general. I think it was good for the state and good for the Green Bay community. You're right, KB. Civic pride is a thing.
Oh, absolutely, it is.
So I don't know. Again, like John could have said the same thing. Like, I don't understand why someone goes to a game when it's 10 below zero out and wants to stand out there. Well, they do. It's like that's.
It's not my problem if they do. If just because I wouldn't, doesn't mean that they can't.
Yeah, and the NFL draft, when it's not in Green Bay, is not among my top like spectator events and things like that, because it is the reading of names and it is a lot of hooey with the run up. We talked about it last week. It's got the longest ramp because the time between the final gun of the Super Bowl to the draft is we got the combine. It's an unbelievably long wrap up, but this one did not disappoint.
I can tell you that there wasn't anyone that I talked to that said it sucked, that they hated being there. Everyone was upbeat, and it was just a good time. It was just a flat out good time. Now, I can tell you this much, and I don't know, John, if you've ever done that, but one of the guys that stood up at my wedding dragged me to a rodeo. And I said, why are we going to a rodeo? And he said, strictly for material. And it's like, what? And he goes, one of these days you may end up in a conversation about a rodeo. And now you got a story.
There you go.
Okay. So why do you go to the draft? Strictly for material. You were there. You were at the draft. Why do you go? Why do you go to the infield of the Kentucky Derby? That's just as bad as this.
And
you can't even see a race.
As you might expect, John's getting a lot of kicks at 877-794-1973.
I would argue that this is better than going to see the Kentucky Derby. Because in the infield, because the Kentucky Derby, you're just partying in the infield on grass. You can't see the race. You can't see the track, right? It's just a party.
Yeah, exactly. And that's basically what it was.
JJ kicked game ball to JJ for saying, where did this dude get my grandpa's two-way radio from World War II? I did. I thought he was he was talking to Apollo 13 when he first started. Which is another one of the things that's my absolute favorite. It's like I love after when they make the cut shot to the draft room after they drafted a guy, and this is like in the 5th round, and then they all get up and pat each other on the back and shake hands. It's like, yeah, you didn't land the lunar module. You picked a guy in the 5th round. Why are you high-fiving each other?
That's true. 877-794-1973. All right. Kari and Tosa has a text for us. And this is a good one. She said, I went to the series in St. Louis this weekend. Game balls. The city of St. Louis for an amazing baseball atmosphere. The stadium, people, and food were very, very welcoming to us. Even congratulated us when we won yesterday. Kicks to the Huevos. The 1982 St. Louis team took my World Series win dreams away as a kid. I can't get over it. Side note, go to a game there. You will not be disappointed.
It is great.
It is. It's
and the whole ballpark village there.
Yeah, it's very it's a lot like Green Bay, that when they play a 7:00 game at Busch Stadium and you start walking around at noon, there are people just walking around that want to be there, and they've come from a long way a lot of times, and they're wearing their Cardinals gear, and they're into it. Mike in Franklin is on the NicoletLaw.com talk and text line. Mike, welcome to Drew and KB.
Hey, Drew and KB, great show.
Thank you, brother.
I had an event that was mind-blowing. Back in 1993, the Green Bay Packers had a beer and brat fest. It was a small little article in Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, and it was at the Summerfest grounds. It was $20. You can meet Packer players from the past, and all the beer you can drink and all the brats you can eat.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was nuts. So what I did was I've got an official football. My son was 3 years old. Sharpie, and he walked through the gates, and my mouth dropped. Here, you can smell the brats burning, and these tables are set up. And here who's at the tables: Bart Starr, Ray Nitschke, Herb Adderley, Dave Robinson, Leroy Coffey. Oh, let's see, who else? My mind just dropped. It was all these Packers from the Super Bowl, and there was nobody there. There was like maybe 20 people there.
Dang.
It was insane.
Dang.
So Max McGee was there. There's all these guys, and there's like 20 people that showed up, and it was on a Sunday. So after a couple of beers and a brat or so, I'm sitting at the roundabout tables, having a beer, sitting next to Bart Starr. I'm like, hey, gotta ask you something. How about we set up a play? He looks at me and goes, what? And Willie Wood and Max McGee are there. I go, hey, I'm going to hike you the ball. I'll have Max McGee do a 10 and out and see what happens. He goes, there's nobody here. What the hell? So I hike the ball of Bart Starr. Max McGee does a 10 and out, and then Willie Wood, Bart Starr throws the ball to him. Willie Wood picks off the pass.
Oh, my.
And runs over. He runs over and goes, I go, hey. He goes, I didn't want to drop the ball.
And no one blew out a hamstring or an Achilles? That's pretty amazing.
Not at all.
That is pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's
Thank you, Mike. Thank you. You can't have those events now. Those things don't happen now where it's free.
No, you can't. I was gonna throw a game ball out, and I don't want to necessarily give one to myself, but I'm gonna give myself a game ball.
Okay.
How about this atmosphere?
Because it's not like I set out to get one, but when we were driving home Saturday morning, one of our mutual friends, texts me and he goes, "You went viral." And I went, "What are you talking about?"
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden he sends me the link, and someone picked up my tweet and it ran in a couple of national online things about how 2 blocks over from the draft, it was just a regular quiet night. It's like 370 some thousand views and stuff like that. So, which I thought was pretty cool because we were sitting there and we had just walked out of that massive humanity. And then we get a block over and it's like quiet.
Yeah, other than all the cars on the street.
Yeah, but you couldn't really hear anything. Yeah. You couldn't hear anything clear.
420.
Oh, it's 420. Got to shut down. Everything stops at 420 on the Drew and KB program. We ask the question appropriate for this time of day. It's 420. What are you, high?
Are you high? You're huffing grass?
Yes, indeed. This little daily detour of ours brought to us by HappyPlaceHemp.com. Thanks to Rob and Chris. They get a game ball for providing us with some accoutrements for our trip up at the frat house, including the Drift Seltzer, which was in the fridge. And it should be in your fridge as well, available at retail locations, including Ray's Liquor, Discount Liquor, and, of course, Amon's at their 3 locations. HappyPlaceHemp.com is a website to find the best locally made CBD products you'll find, and you get a 25% discount all the time with the code Drew and KB. In the store in Muskego or online, HappyPlaceHemp.com, code Drew and KB. KB, what do you got today?
Well, you know how sometimes you do all these, you do parties at school and everyone brings a treat, right? And it's kind of like a potluck thing. Well, Mother in Texas brought a treat to a student holiday gathering, if you will, and at Jones Elementary School, and handed them out to the kids. And after a little bit, the kids said, "Oh, we're getting stomach aches and headaches." One kid said he vomited twice that day. Another one said he got dizzy and fell down. Felt like he could not get back on his feet. Well, here's the problem. Teresa Bernal, age of 33, well, she bought a nice little treat, but didn't check into what it was. And the kids were downing Jell-O shots.
Oh, boy.
She brought little cups of Jell-O, but they weren't little cups of Jell-O. They were little cups of Jell-O shots. She said she didn't know. Nearly all the shots were gone by the time the school staff realized the issue. Teachers said they found it odd that the parent would bring like little Jell-O looking shots to school, but they trusted that, maybe she just made her own Jell-O and brought it in little smaller single serving cups. Nope. She was arrested and she posted a $75,000 bond. She's charged with felony injury to a child. So, bringing Jell-O shots to a school function. What are you, high?
Are you high? You're huffing grass?
Wow.
Yeah, they contain vodka. She bought them pre-made from a company. And it says, they're like, we don't know what you're thinking. It says Jell-O shots right there and contains vodka.
The living, breathing bad decision. There you have it. Don't make bad decisions. Get your CBD products, happyplacehemp.com, using the code Drew and KB.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to give a Hunter, man. You would have loved this. I'm going to give another game ball. And I'm going to give a game ball to Moose Lodge 801.
How about this atmosphere?
Oh, baby. How about that atmosphere?
Live up to the hype?
Of course.
Dude, okay, I got to tell you this. Drew and I and Ari Gold went in.
Yep, our friend Ari Gold. Shout out to Ari for coming up for the draft.
He had a great time. He had a great time.
He came up, watched part of our show at Buffalo Wild Wings, went with us to the Moose Lodge, walked around the draft, and was home by 9:30. We saw the Packers make their second pick from the mosh pit, and then he went home and he said, I was home by 9:30. That's a pretty good day.
Yeah.
So we take, because Drew is a member of Lodge 801.
Okay.
And of course I am as well. And we took Ari in, and because it's right across from Buffalo Wild Wings.
Okay.
And so we go, let's go get a burger. And I'm going to ask you this. You probably wouldn't know this because of the alcohol, but we were there for a while. And here we go. This is what we ordered. 3 bourbon Manhattans. Who had those? Me. 6 beers, 3 each for Drew and Ari. 2 cheeseburgers, big bowl of chili, onion rings, French fries, and cheese curds.
Substantial meal for 3. We were all happy.
Yeah.
How much?
Oh.
All in with tip. Take a guess.
Oh. Right. Yeah, it's going to be tough because the ballpark of the alcohol. What was it?
$61 all in.
That's
$61
like
all
being
in.
1985 pricing.
And this they weren't tap beers.
No,
it was just cans of beer and then bourbon Manhattans and food. And
epic.
It was epic.
Yep. 877-794-1973. Shout out to our Moose brothers.
And there were a bunch of guys in the bar. Whenever they call your name to go get the food, they'd start cheering as if you were the draft choice.
Oh, it was amazing. They do that a lot there. It's quite the tradition. All right, let's jump on. Let's get Noah in Chippewa Falls on as we're statewide. Noah, welcome to Drew and KB.
Hey, thanks for taking my call, Drew and KB. Hey, I've been listening to you guys for a long time here now. I was at the draft on Thursday night, and it was epic. The only complaint that I had was I was on the north side of the stadium. When I got to entrance 1, they said they were at full capacity, and it was quite interesting trying to get in, but I was able to get in on the south end zone.
Yes,
but
there was a half hour. We talked about that. There was like a half hour where they shut down, and it was all because when we were trying to get up to see our buddies Doug and Wayne at their
we
perch,
couldn't get anywhere near it.
We couldn't get near it because they had shut that down because there was a crush of people trying to get to the theater right before the draft started, and then it kind of abated, and then they let people in. And they were letting people in without the One Pass app. But Noah, you did get in, right? You did make it in.
Yeah, and that was the crazy thing. I was walking with a couple, some fans, a husband and wife from Wausau, and we just walked in, no One Pass and nothing, and whatnot. And that was the crazy thing. And then I was surprised they had the bowl open, Lambeau Field open too.
Yeah, that was extra cool. Yeah, thank you, Noah. Appreciate it.
Well, we were talking about that. It's like, why would you go into Lambeau when you can? And it's like there are people that will never see Lambeau Field.
100%, and they can get in.
They could get in and sit
and
for
see
free,
the draft,
and they could sit in those
sit there and
seats.
watch it on TV on the jumbotrons.
In kind of a more empty, like you almost have a whole section to yourself. I mean,
but it was on the jumbotron, and they may never get to a game, but they got to Lambeau.
Very cool. Hey, the Packers could do that in future drafts that aren't in Green Bay. Just show it on the jumbotron, let people in and sell beer. Again, they would probably draw 40,000 people for that. Josh in Waukesha wants to have a word. Josh, welcome to Drew and KB.
Hey guys, how you doing?
We're fantastic. What do you got for us?
Hey, I just want to give a big game ball to the draft. I had an incredible experience. We were there Thursday, Friday, and I couldn't expect it anymore. We tried to get in Thursday. We couldn't get in. We ended up going to one of the houses across the street from Lambeau. Josh Jacobs was there, along with Ryan Clark from ESPN doing a podcast. And we got filmed after the Packers Matthew Golden pick, which was incredible. So just a big game ball.
Hold on a second. Let me ask you this, because you were probably listening when John said, I don't know why anyone in their right mind would go do that. Okay. You seem to be a right-minded individual. Why did you go do it?
I just wanted to go for the experience. I mean, we had no idea where we were going to end up. We ended up going to this, to the house. We had some friends that were there from Endries International, who the company is that owns it out of Appleton. And they invited us over, and ESPN came through.
It's a great house. Yeah.
But it was just a cool thing to be at, to be a part of.
Oh, just incredible. Yeah. Yeah. The whole experience overall. I mean, we had no plan. Plan was to go there and have fun.
Well played, Josh. Well played.
The sea of humanity and the energy, worth it.
Absolutely.
Now, Friday night when it was raining, if I was going to be driving up on Friday, I would have killed that idea.
Well, it stopped raining for most of the draft. It was like it rained while we were at Buffalo Wild Wings. It was drizzling and stuff, nuisance rain, but people toughed it out. This is Wisconsin. We're a hardy folk here.
We are.
Absolutely. All right. When we come back, we're going to welcome Reegs. He's going to wrap things up for us. Our Geek Squad captain. We'll talk to him. He's usually pretty harsh on Goody. He loved the Matthew Golden pick, and I will bet you. I'll bet you a box of Krispy Kremes. He didn't like the other picks. We'll talk to Reegs next. Drew and KB statewide on the game.
I like me better when I'm with you.
At the game, we're big fans of Friends with Benefits.
Excuse me?
So, friend, get a fully loaded tailgate and ticket to Brewers and Cardinals Friday night, June 13th for just $45. Brewers, Cardinals, and the tailgate for just $45. Get it? Friends with Benefits.
That was pretty funny.
Get your tickets now at 973thegame.com/Brewers.
Now, here's traffic from Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank. Call the Tri-City Total Traffic Tip Line at 414-944-5111.
Northbound 4145 jam from Watertown Plank, most of the way up to Hampton and Pockets. You got southbound delays, Good Hope to Appleton. 43 northbound heavy from the Marquette to Keefe, and southbound between Locust and the Marquette. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This energy bill can't be right.
Don't let old systems drain your budget. First Choice Heating offers 5 years of 0% payment options on new installation. Select systems only. Visit firstchoiceheating.com today.
This report is sponsored by First Choice Heating and Cooling.
Drew and KB here with our buddies, Rob and Chris from happyplacehemp.com. KB and I have used CBN gummies as a sleep aid. Some people use melatonin gummies that they get at the discount stores and things like that. What is the difference? What's the benefit to a CBN gummy?
The CBN gummies is a blend of CBD, CBN, and a small amount of THC. And it doesn't make you drowsy. It doesn't make you sleepy. I've talked about this. It puts you in a great headspace. It kind of shuts your mind off and just helps you relax. And for some reason, if you're super relaxed, you're going to fall asleep easier. Give me a call. Otherwise, just trial and error. Get a sample pack of the gummies. Get a bottle of tincture. Try things out and see what works best for you.
Hey, let's talk about the new store hours. You guys realized that your customers were having a hard time getting to you before 5 o'clock, so you're helping them out.
Yeah, that's been the case for coming up on 5 years now. We're open Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 9 to 7, and Saturday, 10 to 2.
Remember, quick and easy ordering at happyplacehemp.com. Promo code Drew and KB for 25% off your order every time.
iHeartRadio Earth is here with a new way to enjoy our beautiful planet. Reduce your impact on the environment this fall by packing a waste-free lunch for school or work. Avoid foods with excessive packaging. Use reusable cutlery, napkins, cups, bags, and containers, and recycle or compost any waste when possible. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and the National Environmental Education Foundation. To find more tips for smarter, sustainable living, or to take action in your own community, go to iHeartRadio.com/Earth.
What's up? It's Russell Nicolay with Nicolay Law. You're listening to 97.3 The Game, the #1 sports talk station in Milwaukee. For award-winning injury lawyers when you're injured, you call Nicolay Law or visit us at nicolaylaw.com. Get the beard, get the win.
Tilton Windows, Doors, and more.
KB here. I've been recommending Tilton Windows, Doors, and More for, 4 years now, Javier?
Actually, we met back in 2019. So this is our 7th year of working together.
Wow. Well, it's because we're happy with everything you've done. You did our replacement windows, patio door, fixed some siding, hence the more part of Tilton Windows, Doors, and More.
We love working on your home, KB. How are your energy bills? Are you noticing a difference?
Big time. My monthly budget billing amount has gone down just about every year. And that's another benefit of the work you've done.
That's what I like to hear from customers. So if you're listening right now and your home could stand to be energy efficient and use a facelift, consider Tilton for your home improvement projects.
All right, smart and good-looking listeners, it's time for you to go to utilton.com to get started. That's the letter U, Tilton.com. At Tilton Windows, Doors, and More, they've got what you're looking for.
We've got what you're looking for. Tilton Windows, Doors, and More.
I'm at a smoothie bar asking people if they'd switch smoothies with me for $574.
Oh, I'll switch.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
That's a headache.
Nope, it's painless.
Oh, so it's easy money.
Yep, check Allstate first and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide Free and Gentle provides an excellent Tide clean, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues like dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on your skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
Tariffs and your money? Well, we just offered our thoughts on the most recent episode of the How to Money podcast. Let's say you do live in a state that gives you a tax break on $529. That's great, but don't invest those dollars once you put them in. We're all about investing in a 529 plan. Typically, right? You want that tax advantage money to grow. But as you get close to needing to spend the money, de-risking is crucial. In uncertain financial times, How to Money is here to help. Open your free iHeartRadio app, search How to Money, and start listening today.
Broadcasting live from the all-new Iron Jock Studios built by Rima Remodel. This is Drew and KB.
Do me a favor, all right? Don't be too critical.
On the game.
With the 124th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers select Baron Sorrell, defensive end, Texas.
So to find out that he was here was a complete shock when we saw him on TV walking down the runway. And shouldn't have been because he was on the list, right? But it was just one of those things we didn't really think about. But what a cool moment that was. I mean, just to watch that and not such shocking at all because for those of us that scouted him, I mean, he is as genuine and as good of a person. And one of the reasons that we drafted him was for a lot of the stuff you guys got to see today.
Everybody, let's get into it. Get started.
Packers GM Brian Gutekunst brings us back. Drew and KB from the Iron Jock Studio, soon to transform into the Central Standard Distillery Timeout Sports Lounge. My chance right now to remind you that the keyword this hour at 973thegame.com is money. Enter money at 973thegame.com to win some bonus bucks, $1,000 in the offing if you just enter money at 973thegame.com. We wish you luck in this nationwide contest of ours. All right, we welcome back to the program our buddy Rob Rieger at NFL Draft Rigs on the X. He was with us at Buffalo Wild Wings. He was at the draft. He loved the Matthew Golden pick. We're going to get his thoughts on the subsequent Packers picks. But Riggs, first I got to ask, as a guy who was there in the house, what did you think of the event, the execution, and just the vibe of being at the draft for the first time?
It was absolutely spectacular. I could not have asked for anything more out of the experience. It's the first time I'd ever been to a draft, even though obviously I'm a lifelong fan, but it was it blew away all my expectations. You know, I didn't really know what to expect when I went up there. I'm just like, you know what, I'm just going to kind of go with the flow. I had some passes and things like that. Everything worked out great. It was really one of my top weekends that I've had. So it's definitely memories that I'll take with me forever. And I feel like the city of Green Bay did a fantastic job. I can't even think of one complaint that I had about it. And they were totally ready for everything. Anytime I needed an Uber to get somewhere, it was waiting for me. It was real fast to get that transportation. I'd heard there were some issues with getting in on night one. We had none. It was perfectly fine for us. We had plenty of room, and it was just a great event.
Yeah, glad to hear you say that, because that was the experience of most And I didn't look at Scanner Squawk, KB, but I didn't see anybody overserved. Apparently, somebody on the text line
Only
said
one arrest.
There was a fight between some Lions fans that were friends that might have had, were fighting
There you
each
go.
other. But it's like I didn't see anything like that as opposed to a normal game day when there's always a handful of people getting a little overserved and stuff.
It was such a good vibe too. The whole thing, just everybody was on just a wave of positivity. You know how draft day, everybody's just all excited for their own teams, and there was no animosity. And you might do some good natured ribbing of people, but it was, for the most part, it's fantastic.
All right, we talked about it before that going into day 2 on Friday at Buffalo Wild Wings. I said, all right, so that was a curveball that they took, and they ended their streak. It took Matthew Golden. I said, I would have bet everything I own that the Packers are going to take 2 defensive players, an edge and a corner in the second and third rounds, and then they threw the curveball and picked a lineman and a wide receiver. So, Reeks, what did you say after loving the Golden pick? What did you think of the Packers on day 2 and then day 3?
Man, before I get into that, I have to give you some credit because you're way down the line. Most obscure, weird thing that could possibly have happened in the draft, you actually mentioned specifically. Well, what if they go with a tackle and another receiver in rounds 2 and 3 as a jestful, like being in jest? You're saying that?
Yes, I said. Well, they'd go get a receiver who was tall because the one thing that you heard about Golden, the only negative thing is that he's not 6'2". So
Yeah.
I'm like,
No, you're right on the money on that. But
I didn't want to be because I would hypothetically bet everything I own on picking an edge in a corner, and they didn't.
Man, I mean, for all the good feelings that I had, coming into Friday, and with the draft being Green Bay, and the fun that I had aside, there are a couple head scratchers after that. I don't feel like the draft was overall very effective. It almost is like Goody tries to make up for his own mistakes with other draft picks. So he looks at this and, well, we drafted Jordan Morgan last year in round 1. Well, we had to kick him into guard, even though we drafted him as a tackle. So now we have to kind of cover for that mistake by drafting a tackle early, with Anthony Belton, who's a guy that I had ranked the 10th rated tackle. I actually had him on my sleeper list, but as a 4th rounder. I figured that, someone would get a nice pick, a developmental type of tackle that could go in there. He's very big, but he doesn't really fit with what I feel like the Packers want, even in a tackle. So it just kind of says to me that they really don't like Rasheed Walker. Like, they just keep trying to get rid of him. They just keep trying to find his replacements over and over and over again.
Yeah, that to me, it does seem like he and Sean Ryan could be, better off renting than buying in Green Bay, basically.
Yeah.
But okay, but if Belton and Morgan become, whether it's inside or outside, if they become regular starters, you got your offensive line looks like it's going to be in pretty good shape. They got to pay Zach Tom, and Elton Jenkins is going to be the center, and it looks like they could have some stability if these guys pan out, and it seems like what they were looking for. And I think you're right. I know that. Let's say Christian Watson's dad and brother weren't happy with the Matthew Golden pick,
No.
and they probably couldn't have been very happy with the Savion Williams pick either.
No.
But then they're preparing for this. Could this be the end of Romeo Doubs in Green Bay after next year? Right. So it looks like they are preparing for departures in some way.
It's like he's covering for his past mistakes. He's almost like he's like, okay, well, we didn't really hit with these guys, so we're going to have to draft new guys to replace those guys rather than trying to build at other positions that maybe they have a need. And I hear a lot of people talk about the Savion Williams pick, and I think that he's going to be a highlight reel player for the team. But when you really kind of dive into his tape, he's pretty inconsistent. They actually moved him to running back for a lot of last year because he couldn't catch the ball. His hands were very, very inconsistent in college. So he's the type of guy who has incredible athletic ability, and he makes the highlight reel plays. But I wasn't really sold.
But again, Reeks, to the point though, if Jaden Reed, we loved him in those jet sweeps and stuff, but we saw how he gets hurt. He's so small.
Yeah.
If they want to use him, that might have been the motivation to take him there as opposed to his hands.
But I kind of like Matthew Golden in that kind of role because he's so shifty. So I mean, they're going to find ways to use him. Don't get me wrong. And with a 3rd round pick, he's a talented player. But I just felt like they did. I mean, how perplexing is it that they didn't draft a single cornerback until round 7? This is 3 drafts in a row, guys. 3 drafts in a row that they waited till the 7th round to pick their first cornerback in the draft, when the guy like Trey Amos was sitting there. He's a 1st-round talent. I had a 1st-round grade on him, multi-year starter in the SEC, stud player sitting there in the 2nd round, would have been an instant starter on our team. And I was thinking for a second, I'm thinking, well, maybe that means that they're going to keep Jair. And now I'm hearing today, no, that's not the case. They're still trying to get rid of him. and it's very unlikely that he'll be on the team next year. So look at our division. Chicago added Luther Burden. You still have Jefferson. You have Addison in Minnesota. You have Amon-Ra and Jamison Williams in Detroit. There's a lot of receivers that are very difficult to guard in our division. And the Packers did absolutely nothing to address that. They didn't even take safeties. They didn't take anybody that's going to guard a receiver. And I just feel like there's some missed opportunities there for Goody to be able to draft a corner or even a safety that could maybe move into the slot. But, I mean, he must see something that I don't, because that was very, very perplexing to me.
Here's what we don't know, Riggs. We don't know what's happening behind the scenes. Okay? There might be a deal in place for Jair that includes a cornerback. But you know who else? You know who else drafted based on to cover the mistakes that they made? Every other GM in the league.
Well, I mean,
every other GM, they make mistakes. No one has a perfect draft. No one has ever had a perfect draft.
You know what I didn't mind, because Goody, he differs from Ted Thompson. They have a lot of similarities, but between him and Ted Thompson, but where they differ is that Goody tends to go after the free agent market a lot more to cover up for those mistakes that he had. Savage doesn't work out, so then they pick up McKinney. AJ Dillon doesn't work out, so then they pick up Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
So you're looking at a situation where I'd rather have him take established players to replace some of his mistakes than go to the well again to the draft. So that's kind of my criticism of him. I didn't like the second half of that draft. I didn't think it was drafting a linebacker as high as they did from Oklahoma State. I didn't feel like that was really necessary. There's a couple other players that I really liked on the board at that point. And now they're talking about Isaiah Simmons is tweeting out cheeseheads in his Twitter today. So he's a linebacker, and they just signed Isaiah McDuffie to a 2-year contract. So you're looking at a room that's pretty filled at the inside linebacker position, and he's taking – I think that 5th-round picks are very, very valuable. And this guy might not even make the team. It was kind of the same way I felt with Tyron Hopper last year.
Interesting. But what did you think of the Barron Sorrell trade? Because all the guys that do it for a living that are passionate like you, like Brugler and all those guys, they love this guy. His intangibles are off the charts. They love what he brings to the party, and he brought a great moment when he was partying with the fans. That was amazing.
It was.
So what did you think of that pick? Will he live up to that hype?
Hey man, I will give Goody some credit there. So I've been kind of hard on him a little bit. He was my next rated edge rusher. I thought we needed an edge rusher at that point, and he brings a ton of energy. He's going to bring a lot of juice to that room. Maybe he'll get something out of Lucas Van Ness and really put a lot of pressure on him. He's a really, really hard worker, and he's a guy who gets every ounce of performance out of energy that he has into it. So, and just I don't know, having him come out. I mean, that's weird. I was wondering if that was kind of pre-planned, but apparently it wasn't, and he just happened to be the guy that they wanted.
That was the cut that we entered this segment with. That was so cool that
Sorrell
was there. On the way out, Riggs, with Brinson, they did take a Georgia guy because they can't help themselves. But I didn't realize that it had been since Jermichael Finley that they took a guy from Texas, and then they had 2 Longhorns.
Yes,
in the
right
same draft.
that.
So now we have a new Packers fan. Matthew McConaughey will be following his Longhorns. He tweeted about both guys.
Yeah, they actually drafted 2 defensive they got 1 in free agency out of Georgia, so they have some run stuffers in there. They waited, it was the defensive tackle position, the corner position that I felt were the ones that I wanted us to address earlier in the draft. But overall, I mean, you never know. I never grade people right after the draft. I'm not one of those guys, so I'm not going to give them a grade. Bottom line is, if Matthew Golden becomes an impact player, pretty much as long as some of those other guys just become decent players on the team, I think it'll be a win for a draft for sure.
Fantastic. Riggs, thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate your breakdown. Start working on 26.
I'm already on it, man. Thank you. Appreciate
All right, man. You bet. Rob Rieger at NFL Draft Riggs on the X Machine with Cheesehead TV and other outlets. All right, we're getting close. Central Standard Distillery Timeout Sports Lounge. Somebody's going to win pizza for a year from Peps. We will wrap up our Peps Ultimate Draft House Draft Trivia. It's been a long month of that. We're going to pay it off today. Stay tuned. Drew and KB statewide on the game.
Brian Butch here. Iron Jack Performance Apparel is hands down my favorite. The absolute best feel with the best odor and fabric protection in the industry. With a lifetime guarantee. No questions asked. And now through May 11th, when you buy $50 or more, use promo code SPRING35 to take 35% off your entire order. Plus, Iron Jack will include free socks as a bonus. Go to ironjack.com. That's ironjoc.com now through May 11th. On behalf of myself and Paul Hansen, happy Mother's Day, Iron Jack Nation.
This is 11-year NBA veteran Katina Mobley. This is what's trending from iHeart Sports Network.
Presented by Thrivent.
Bucks star Damian Lillard's postseason is over. He suffered a torn Achilles during Sunday's Game 4 loss to Indiana. Former Packers safety Tom Brown has died at the age of 84. He was a 4-year starter for Green Bay beginning in 1964, winning 3 NFL titles. And the son of Falcons defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich is taking responsibility for prank calling Shedeur Sanders during the NFL draft. I'm Frank Garrity.
At Thrivent, planning your finances is bigger than money. It's a way to support the people, causes, and community you love. Because the most important thing isn't what you're planning for, it's who. Thrivent, where money means more. Connect with us at Thrivent.com.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? At Milwaukee Weight Loss, we know the secret. Our doctor-developed, easy-to-follow weight loss program helps you lose weight fast, naturally, and safely, and with no drugs or injections with risk of serious side effects, no prepackaged meals, bars, shakes, and no exercising required. Our program helps reset your metabolism so you can keep the weight off for good with a coach for ongoing support. Our program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast as most other programs. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com to schedule your free consultation.
KB here to tell you about one of the best decisions I ever made, going to Milwaukee Weight Loss. With their program, I'm in the best shape I've been in for years, and I did it without injections, drugs, or prepackaged meals. It changed my life. It will change yours too.
Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. Schedule your free consultation by calling 262-433-4008 or online at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
You can search for the biggest bat selection, but I'm here to save you time because the best baseball and softball bat selection in the Midwest is right here at Burkhart Sporting Goods. We stock just about every bat on the market from all the top manufacturers like Easton, DeMarini, Louisville Slugger, Marucci, and more, and sell them all at the guaranteed lowest prices. So get in here and try a few out in our indoor batting cages. There's no need to look any further because when it comes to bats, if you want it, we got it at Burkhart Sporting Goods.
You can't beat Burkhart.
When you run a team, you want great uniforms, and you know selling spiritware is vital. That's why Burkhart Sporting Goods will create a free custom website for you to sell your families and players the coolest spiritware from Nike and Under Armour, as well as the basics, while helping you fundraise at the same time. We take the hassle out of coordinating your team's apparel and make shopping and buying easy. So when you need awesome spiritware and uniforms for your organization, you can't beat Burkhart.
You can't beat Burkhart.
Hey, want to make your next meal a little less ordinary? Well, head to Quick Trip. Hey, we are so back serving up our legendary No Ordinary Chicken. Yeah, your dinner is hand-breaded, fried to perfection, and ready for you to enjoy. Try our juicy chicken tenders or boneless wings, perfect for dipping in your favorite sauces. Plus, they're easy to grab on the go or pair with your favorite sides and beverages. Or try our crispy chicken sandwich, full of flavor and perfect for a quick bite. But hey, maybe you're feeding the whole crew. Well, you'll want the 8-piece fried chicken meal. Hey, pick up chicken that's never ordinary, ready to eat for tonight's dinner. Or you can buy it cold, sealed fresh for tomorrow's lunch. You know, we love to make life easier for you. This isn't just any chicken. It's Quick Trip's No Ordinary Chicken. The legend on your plate and flavor that rules the roost. Stop in your local Quick Trip today and taste the difference.
At Potawatomi, where ways to win are endless, another chance to capture epic cash and prizes comes Friday, June 27th. It's the season finale blockbuster drawings. Watch your entries from Enchanted Spins, Unreal Treasures, and Boundless Bounty come together for drawings where $300,000 in cash and prizes is there for the taking. Be there to win your share. June 27th only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. More info online. Must be 21 years old to play.
Spring into deals with fresh savings at Lowe's. Right now, get 5 Stay Green or premium 2 cubic foot mulch bags for just $10. Plus, get up to 35% off select major appliances and save $50 on every $500 you spend on select LG appliances. Shop in-store or online today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 4/30. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See associate or Lowe's.com for more details or qualifying items. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Have you tried hands-free Skechers slip-ins yet? Because if you haven't, you're missing out on technology that changes how you think about shoes. First, these are not just regular slip-on shoes. They're not just a pair of loafers without laces. But what makes them different is the technology inside that lets you just step into them. There's a built-in hidden shoehorn that slides your foot in, so they look, feel, and wear just like a pair of shoes you're used to. Except you don't have to bend down, struggle to put them on, or touch them. Try them at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Drew and KB from the Iron Jock Studio, soon to transform to the Central Standard Distillery Timeout Sports Lounge. Oh, baby. We did work our way through some Red Cabin bourbon, the flop house, the frat house.
That's a nice way of saying it.
We certainly did. We certainly did. Hey, American Place Casino on Mondays in April. AP Rewards members can redeem their comp points for free play at a rate of 200 comp points to $1 of free play. That is a great deal. Comp point exchanges can be done at the Rewards Club from 9 a.m. till 11 p.m. during the promotion period. A minimum of $10 free play can be redeemed per transaction with a maximum of $500 free play per promotion day. Comp points must be exchanged for free play in increments of $5. Avail yourself of the AP Rewards Desk. Got to go there and get a card when you go to American Place Casino, our favorite spot south of the border. Those of you in the hot corner who haven't been there yet, go check it out. Circus Sportsbook, La American, North Shore Seafoods and Steaks, and of course, Asia Azteca, as well as the Canoe Bar. Lots to enjoy. Betting on the Brewers to beat the White Sox is always a good play. You can start doing that right today and for the rest of the week.
Sure.
Check out American Place. Visit AmericanPlace.com for more information.
Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-426-2537.
Going to be back with the bar. Drew and KB statewide on the game.
.97.3 The Game. This is what's trending in Milwaukee now.
This sports update is brought to you by American Place Casino. Nonstop excitement just over the Wisconsin border in Lake County, Illinois. I'm Dave Gasper. The Green Bay Packers walked away from the 2025 NFL Draft with 8 selections. The Packers added 2 wide receivers, 2 offensive linemen, 2 edge rushers, a defensive tackle, and a cornerback. The Milwaukee Bucks got some horrible news last night. Not only did they fall to the Pacers 129-103, they also lost Damian Lillard in the first quarter after he suffered an Achilles injury. The Bucks are on the brink of elimination as the series turns back to Indiana. And the Milwaukee Brewers got back on track Sunday afternoon with a 7-1 win over the St. Louis Cardinals to avoid a sweep. The Brewers are off today before beginning a 3-game series in Chicago against the White Sox. I'm Dave Gasper on Milwaukee's most listened to sports station, 97.3 The Game.
Zabe and Butch in the morning.
Hey, join us Tuesday. We get ready for the Bucks-Pacers Game 5. Plus, Ty Windish and Hunter will talk Brewers. We'll see you bright and early.
Zabe and Butch, weekday mornings after 6 on The Game.
Now, here's traffic from Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank. Call the Tri-City Total Traffic Tip Line at 414-944-5111.
894 northbound near Howard. You got a stalled vehicle that blocks the center lane. Now you're jammed back to the Hale interchange. Westbound 894, as a result, very slow from Forest Home. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Argo Glass and Windows.
No need to replace windows when you can repair them. Argo Glass and Windows, always offering free estimates. Rotted wood, foggy glass, hard to slide patio door. There's no need to replace if you can repair them. Visit ArgoWindowRepair.com.
iHeartRadio Earth is here with a new way to enjoy our beautiful planet. Reduce your impact on the environment this fall by packing a waste-free lunch for school or work. Avoid foods with excessive packaging. Use reusable cutlery, napkins, cups, bags, and containers, and recycle or compost any waste when possible. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and the National Environmental Education Foundation. To find more tips for smarter, sustainable living or to take action in your own community, go to iHeartRadio.com/Earth.
Hi, it's John Reitz from Great Midwest Bank. Looking to simplify your everyday banking? Our checking and savings accounts offer the tools you need, plus the friendly, Simply Local service you deserve. Enjoy competitive rates, 24/7 online and mobile banking, and real people ready to help right here in your community. Whether your checking balance is at midnight or stopping by one of our branches at noon, Great Midwest Bank has you covered with a variety of new and improved account options designed for your unique needs. Great Midwest Bank, Simply Local and member FDIC.
I gave it a shot. I came in and had the procedure done. To me, it was amazing because I don't think I ever breathed that clear. I wish I would have done it 20 years ago.
I want them gummy squares. I want them gummy squares. I want some sleepy with no more anxiety. I need them gummy squares. I need them gummy squares. I need my wife to find her happy place really soon. We have Delta 8 CBD and new Delta 9s. Go to happyplacehemp.com.
Happyplacehemp.com.
25% off with promo code DrewKB. Happyplacehemp.com.
I can see the breath inside my house. This is how horror movies start.
First, the cold seeps in. Next thing you know, you're spooning your cat for warmth.
I tried it. He bit me.
Jason, come on, man. You need a new furnace. Don't you know that Capital is giving away the furnace when you get a new AC?
Giving as in free?
Yeah, but call Capital before this turns into the horror version of Frozen. Call Capital today and get a free furnace with a new AC.
Old-fashioned service you can't go wrong. Call CapitalCares.com.
Tired of feeling like you're in a fishbowl every time you hit the road? It's time to tint your windows. Tinting your windows will not only block harmful UV rays, but also reduces glare and keeps your car cooler on those scorching summer days. We offer a lifetime warranty on film and installation. Charisma offers a color-stable film that makes your vehicle look great, and a ceramic film that blocks 99% of UV rays and 85% of sun's heat. Ceramic window film is the best you can get and keeps you cool in blistering summer heat. 262-444-2525. CharismaCustoms.com.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide Free and Gentle provides an excellent Tide clean, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues like dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on your skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in focus and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. If you're a guy facing divorce, remember, Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on.
111 East Kilbourne, Milwaukee. CordellCordell.com.
Live from Milwaukee and heard on the iHeart app by fans everywhere. We are WRNW-FM Milwaukee, 97.3 The Game.
Number one for sports and stuff.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hello, smart and good-looking listeners across Wisconsin. Drew and KB's Timeout Sports Lounge is now open. So grab a bar stool and belly up because it's time to knock a few back with your host, Drew and KB.
So basically you have
Jim, Jack, Johnny Red, Johnny Black, and Jose, all my favorite men.
Time for drinking, bud.
Drink up while it's cold, ladies. Toilet wine is a big thing in there, and people get their drink on.
We sat and drank with the sun on our shoulders and felt like free men.
I don't know what inferior swill this is, but I ordered a Lagavulin.
Set them up and I'll knock them back, Lloyd. 1-1.
We hope there isn't a single fan who is having a problem with the two-fisted slopper.
Drink. The king commands it.
They took the bar! The whole bar!
Medium dry martini, lemon peel, shaken, not stirred.
5:01 in the good land. Welcome to the Central Standard Distillery Timeout Sports Lounge. Welcome to Happy Hour with Drew and KB. Oh, baby. I'm Drew. That guy over there is KB.
What's going on, brother man?
TheCentralStandard.com is what's going on and has been going on. Oh, baby. The ready to pour line, the bourbons, the guided trail gin, the standard issue vodka, it's all there. The Craft House and Kitchen, check it out at TheCentralStandard.com. What's our cocktail of the day?
Well, our cocktail of the day is an Alyssa Milano. No, it's just called the Milano.
The Milano.
The Milano. And what that is your guided trail gin, a little Galliano, and some lemon juice.
Keep it simple.
There you go.
The fewer ingredients, the
better.
less of a chance of screwing it up.
Yep. That's absolutely right. We could have the Northern Drew and KB the Drew and KB Cabin Margarita, which is a glass and cabin strength bourbon. That you wanted.
We'll call it whatever you want.
We'll call it whatever you want. Yes.
The Red Cabin.
Drew and KB Rita.
We had several bourbons at our disposal, thanks to Mike Heller and his friends who were in the industry. The peddling of spirits industry, and they brought some bottles over, but it was the Red Cabin that was our go-to. It was the winner of the taste testing. So shout out to Evan, Pat, Jim, and the rest of the crew down at Central Standard, making the most delicious products. Craft House and Kitchen, great spot to check out if you're so inclined. And today, when I look at my watch and it tells me it's 79 degrees outside of the Iron Jock / Central Standard studio, 79 degrees.
That's crazy.
On April 28th.
That's crazy.
Absolutely crazy. Feels like a day we should go.
80.
We should go to a bar. And Hunter Baumgart is our tour guide, taking us to bars around the state. Hunter, where are you taking us today?
We are going to Almond, Wisconsin, which is right in the middle of the state, and we are checking out Dee's Bar and Grill. DEE''S.
D.
I would think that D.
As in D, as in Dee.
Yeah,
D.
Exactly. Dee's Bar and Grill. They say, come visit us. It's a great bar in Almond. We will save you a stool.
Do they serve nuts?
Milk?
Because I was wondering.
They might. But also
because these nuts are very popular.
These nuts. These almonds.
In March, they had the famous Cliff's famous corned beef and cabbage.
Ooh.
Around the time of St. Patrick's Day.
Cliff, good Irish name.
Cliff and D, they're hanging out. So outstanding. Well, cue the talking text line, 877-794-1973. Someone will hit us on the NicoletLaw.com talk text line. I've been there. It's amazing. Always. Great job, Hunter, picking an obscure spot that I've never
Wow,
been.
we have a burner phone in the 209 who is convinced the Bucks are going to win in 7.
420 was last hour.
That's exactly what I said.
Yeah.
There's no chance in hell they are winning.
It's highly.
You get down 3-1, they're probably going to dip
I wonder
out.
what odds you could get of the Bucks winning right now. It'd have to be astronomical.
It's against them. That's bad. Just throwing good money after bad.
Hey, KB, tell people about the official pizza of the Timeout Sports Lounge, the pizza that sponsored our draft coverage all week.
The pizzas that we were enjoying on a regular basis.
Ooh.
Up there, there wasn't Hunter, you missed it. There wasn't a minute that oven wasn't turned on, cranking out a pizza. And what kind of pizza was that? That was the Pep's Draft House pizza with big toppings and even bigger taste. Delicious, handcrafted, delightfully heavy. And those things did not get crushed, Hunter, right away. Everyone took a nice hearty piece and everything, and that it wasn't like they were reloading the plates.
Right.
Because they were filled to the brim, delightfully heavy with exceptional ingredients. You can get it in original hand toss style crust, crunchy, thin crust, rising crust options, 14 different flavor varieties. And if you are so inclined, they have personal size with the pepperoni doppelbock, the Prohibition Special, and the Tap Room Double. You can turn your house into a draft house every time you put a Pep's Draft House pizza in that oven.
I hope at least you guys were going when you were enjoying them.
Oh, you couldn't even. It get so annoying.
Always. Everything was just
every time we're trying to watch the draft, and all of a sudden you hear from the other side of the room. Oh, someone's enjoying a pizza again.
Yep.
Give me that. Give me one more, Hunter, or give me 3 more. All right, because it's time to announce our winner. This is the consolation prize for people who qualified for the Pep's Ultimate Draft Trivia Contest and for the tailgate package that Pep's gave away. We gave away a lot of tailgate packages. They were awesome. The cool cooler and the accoutrements there. Fantastic. But the consolation prize now of all the people who qualified and got a trivia question right and then didn't win the cooler. They're in the randomizer right now, and we have a winner for the Pep's Pizza for a Year portion of the contest. And the winner is Brian D in the 920. Brian D in the 920. Congratulations. Hunter will contact you and get you your prize.
Brian D.
Brian D will be basking in the glow of deliciousness with Pep's Draft House Pizza. PepsDraftHouse.com. House.com.
What a month.
Shout out to our friends at Peps for
That's right.
stepping up and helping sponsor the draft coverage and feeding us. All we had to do was throw it in the oven. And amazingly, no one passed out with a pizza in the oven. Although there were a couple mishaps. I think Luddy had a little mishap with the oven, and the smoke detector went off twice at the Flop House. And
Really? I missed those.
It was pizza related.
I missed the I
One
must not have been
you weren't
around.
there yet, and then the other one was you weren't around. So yeah, there's going to be mishaps.
I was out having fun.
Oh, and by the way, I mean, it's great bonding and we love our teammates and stuff, but it was nice to be back home after a week in squalor. There was a time, and now Red Hot is our boss, and he kind of has to be the most responsible. He has to be the adult in the room most of the time. Those idiots. And Tim was the guy who was like at the end of every night was straightening up and cleaning in the kitchen and stuff. And there was a point on Friday when we were all back from the draft, everybody's tired and we're having some drinks and some snacks, Pep's Draft House Pizza. And Tim was still helping Doug and Wayne close up shop. And Andrew Ludwig was helping them to close up shop at Radio Row and taking the equipment down and stuff. So we were just kicking it. And I thought, well, Red Hot's going to be tired because he's been working and busting it and supervising and stuff. So I just took it upon myself. Tim had loaded the dishwasher and run it. So I took it upon myself to start unloading it. And Butchie thanked me because he watched that. And if I hadn't done that, knowing what I know about dudes when they're together in a frat house type environment,
It'd still be in there.
someone would have needed a bourbon glass and would have taken a rocks glass
Out of there.
out of the dishwasher. And then we
back
wouldn't have
in.
known if it was dirty or clean, and it would have been chaos, right? So I unloaded the dishwasher and we were filling that thing up a lot. And it just struck me that it reminded me of college, that one of our roommates back on Downer Avenue across from the old UW Milwaukee, it was his week to do the dishes. We didn't have a dishwasher at that time. And it was his week to do the dishes, and they piled up and they were getting more and more gross. And it got into late in the second week of him not doing the dishes. And no one could. It's like Dobie's joke about you had to find a dice cup to have an orange juice in the morning, right? That was the only clean cup was with the Yahtzee game. And at one point we just said, well, that's it. He's had enough time. And all the dirty dishes and all the science experiments went into his bed.
Oh, we did that
pulled
too.
the comforter over, and he rolled in from going out on a heater. And he's like, what the hell? We could hear him screaming, and we're all laughing because it's like, hey, man,
We did the same
you
thing.
made your bed, put him in his bed, and then that's the message, to do your damn dishes.
It was very close to college. And how do I know that? Because you run out of flatware and glassware and and dishware. And I think it was Thursday night. I might have had a couple of mumblers in a 14-ounce milk glass because there were no rocks glasses left. They were all dirty. Rather than wash one out, I may have had a mumbler out of a coffee cup at some point.
I got to hand it to KB because he did go out and shop and grab his own vermouth for his mumblers.
I did.
He
Well, there
did.
wasn't any
We didn't
vermouth
have, we had
around.
bourbon, but we didn't have any vermouth. So,
No,
yeah,
so
I was
when we
just
went
gonna
out
say.
shopping the next day, we stopped at the Pick and Slave or
Yeah.
Pick and Save, right? And I had everything. I had some apples because I like the Honeycrisp apple.
Oh, yes.
And we had that discussion though.
Have you tried the Cosmic Crisp?
Yeah, not as good. Sorry.
Really? It's like eating apple juice.
It's not. I don't like it. If someone were to solidify apple juice, that would be the Cosmic Crisp apple.
I think so.
All right,
So I
Brian.
said-
So Brian, our winner in the Peps Draft House Pizza, he's already hit us on the Nicolay Law.
Oh, good. I'll just respond.
He said, it's Brian D right here. Thanks for the pizza. Hopefully my oven rack can withstand the weight. Yeah, that's a problem because it's very hardy. But congratulations, Brian. You'll be getting those wonderful coupons, and let us know what you think.
So JJ says he walked into D's once on Halloween and he was dressed as a pirate. I don't think he did. I think he just said
I think he
this
just
to get to
made
the
this
joke.
up. Yeah, I think he did.
For the joke.
The joke's not good.
And D asked, I don't even think D's alive.
Well, we don't know. Hopefully.
And D said, you know, you have a steering wheel in your pants. And I said, it's driving me nuts. I don't think he's ever walked in there. I think he just wanted to tell the joke.
Yeah. I think he was just
long
reaching.
way to go, JJ.
Long way to go,
Long
man.
walk to get there.
Long way to go. 877-794-1973. It's Game Balls and Kicks of the Balls Monday. If you just got out of work, put down the Penske file and you're blown away by how warm it is. By the way, there's threatening weather alerts throughout the state for tonight.
That means
conditions are ripe for some ghastly weather, especially out, Hunter, in your area, on the western side of the state.
Yeah, they might weaken a bit by the time they get to our part of the state. Still possible.
I'm down with
severe
that.
weather for sure.
Yeah,
but
severe weather, hail, all that stuff. High winds is the big danger.
Which means at some point, for no apparent reason, I will be standing in my driveway looking up at the clouds, wondering what's going to happen for no reason at all.
Do that while you're firing up the Blackstone in the garage.
Blackstone's out on the patio.
Oh, where's my bell? Ding. Yeah, so is mine, and it'll be in use tonight for sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what to do. I think this year I'm going to make the move to fried rice. I haven't done it yet. I'm going to.
I've done it. It's fabulous. Yeah.
Do you have to use now? Do you use rice that's a day old?
You're supposed to, as long as it's been in the fridge for a while.
Yeah, because you can't cook it hot. It's
clumpy.
going to be clumpy. It's not going to work.
It's a good question for Adam about the science of that. Adam Pavlak, who joins us on Wednesdays.
It's got to do with hot and cold.
Yeah, it should be cold.
Is the rice cooked already?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's what you do.
You don't just take
Here's
raw
what you
rice.
do, KB. Here's what I do.
Hunter.
And I knew this
Just
discussion.
take raw rice, throw it out on the grill, and just wait for it to pop.
In my head, I went, I'll ask the question. Then I went, what's KB? I think KB's going to say, well, no, of course it's cooked.
It's cooked.
And then,
well, here's the
I
workaround.
still asked the question. I still asked it.
KB, here's the workaround. Last year, I had a hankering, and I was going to make me some chicken fried rice on the Blackstone. And I forgot to make rice the day before. And I was driving in the Megaplex, and I thought, oh, dang. But there's like probably 20 Chinese restaurants around our area.
So you said, do you have any cold rice?
I rolled in, and can I get some rice? Do you have any yesterday's rice? They're like, no, we have it from today. And then I just rolled in, and I got a quart, and then I put it in the fridge for the day, and it was in the fridge for several hours. And by the time I got it home, it was ready to rock.
Dude, that's genius.
Brilliant. Just saying.
I may do that.
Yes.
I may just go to a Chinese restaurant.
Sometimes they'll sell yesterday's rice. You say, go there in the morning. Say, you got any rice left over from yesterday?
It's like the sub shops who sell the
day old bread.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Why are Chinese restaurants always closed on Monday? Why did they pick Monday?
That's a good question.
Or is it Monday or Tuesday? It's one weird.
It varies.
Tuesday.
It's
Tuesday. They're closed on Tuesdays.
Yeah. They work. Why not? Why
they
should they
work
get a
hard,
weekend?
No, I mean, no, exactly. But why Tuesday?
Maybe it's their least business day.
Could be.
That very well could be.
Massage parlors are open on Tuesdays.
Really? 877-794-1973. Game balls and kicks of the balls. All right, we gave a game ball. KB was not here yet, but I gave a game ball to our entire staff. The yeoman's work that everybody did, including especially Doug Russell, Billy Schmidt. Billy Schmidt coming off of paternity leave to anchor our draft coverage with Doug and Wayne. And Mike Heller was our embedded reporter in the Packers media auditorium. Those guys were busting it. And then back here, it was Armin and Gasper and Bruzewitz that were helping out. I saw that they had a picture that they dubbed themselves the designated survivors, that they were back here while we were all up there. And phenomenal job by our whole team, our coverage of the draft. I put it up against anybody's at any time at any draft because they're going up against, the Kuipers and the guys like that, and the guys on the NFL Network and Field Yates and all these guys
of the world.
Well, they're going up against those guys, and it's you're filling time in between picks and stuff, and the information, that Billy and that Wayne had, just incredible, and they were just fantastic.
Wayne, he's the consummate pro. He has stacks and stacks of notes.
Oh yeah,
that he's going through, and he's looking up stuff all the time. Yeah,
that's right. 877-794-1973. Uncle G in Caledonia is with us on the NicoletLaw.com talk and text line. Uncle G, welcome back. Drew and KB.
Good talking to you guys. I'm going to start first with kick to the balls. Mel Kiper, 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, 5.0.
You're kicking him 5 times, or you're just saying Mel Kiper in general?
Sure. We'll
hit him with it, Hunter. Hit him with it. Give him to him. Here's the kick.
I feel bad for him.
Okay. Do you have a game ball, Uncle G?
Yeah. Game ball to you and KB for doing the mock draft 6.0 in a condensed, well administrated version.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
How about this atmosphere?
Keep them coming. 877-794.
Meme of the
197.3.
4th rounder.
So the meme of the weekend was that I saw was a person sitting there on a dais with no microphone in front of him, and then a person sitting next to him with 10 microphones around them. And the one on the left with no microphone said Cam Ward drafted first overall. And then the next one said Shadur Sanders drafted in the 5th round with all the microphones around it. That pretty much summed it up. Was it 5th or 4th? 5th.
5th. Yeah. Giddy up. I mean, it was the board.
Everyone said Cleveland was going to get him, and I'll be damned if they didn't.
I know they were going to.
I'll be damned if they didn't. Is that something? We got our guy.
Yeah, right. After
We
like
got our
4 or
guy.
5 times that they passed up on him, including 2 times in the first 4 picks, right? In the 2nd round. So they got Jacksonville's pick. That was just wild.
Yeah, I mean,
made for something interesting on the last day of the draft, though.
It
As
did.
far
And
as,
there,
the
there was
content
that.
of it.
You know what I think?
There was that payoff. Yeah.
Is that okay? Let me ask you this, because I think we've all seen the videos of Shadur Sanders driving around Colorado in his Lamborghini, right, and has his own set built. Okay, for draft night.
Yeah, I heard his pro day. They went like way over the top too.
It's
like
all.
they had like, you know, even like the laminate, the press passes and stuff were like the highest end. You know how you could tell when you get an expensive invitation to something,
Right.
like it's like they went the highest end, like they were, you know, it was complete ready. They wanted to make it like bigger than anybody's pro day ever.
So do you think, in a way, this was kind of a situation where, I'm not saying the NFL because that would imply collusion, but where people finally said, I don't care how much NIL you've got. Okay, this is the National Football League, and if you're not going to play well with, and if you're not going to play well with others, because it said he was just a jerk in his interviews.
Well, that's what they said. He wasn't prepared, and he didn't act interested if he didn't want to play for a
you?
team like he didn't. And so, again, the market for quarterbacks, a lot of good teams already have their quarterback. By the way, Cleveland now has Deshaun Watson, Kenny Pickett. They have Shadur Sanders, Joe Flacco, and Dylan Gabriel. They're going to have to bring in more receivers and centers to have drills, right? I mean, well, obviously Deshaun's hurt, right? But
that's like a college.
They went a little overboard in the quarterback room, didn't
Like
they?
in college where they have 5 quarterbacks. They're going to move one to safety. They'll move one to.
Here's the thing, though. If Shadur Sanders like ends up, this lights a fire under him and he's out with a chip on his shoulder to prove people wrong, it's not the worst thing in the world.
No, it's not.
And I saw somebody, and I can't remember who it was, that said most people are in one of 2 camps. Like either the entire draft industrial complex, the Riegses, the Bruglers, like everybody who evaluates draft talent was wrong about the same guy and had him like as a day 2 or day 3 pick, or 32 owners, because of race and other reasons, colluded to not have the guy picked. Which one is more far-fetched? Like,
I can't see it being.
Obviously, it wasn't collusion, and it wasn't those guys.
It's not race.
It wasn't. It wasn't. Clearly,
when you look at everybody else that's drafted,
Exactly.
It's not race.
Clearly.
So
So
people
it
are
was
saying,
just-
it's racism.
he
No, it's
turned
not.
people off, and his skill set wasn't that good.
That is it.
Maybe it was Reeves who said he sees his ceiling as Ryan Tannehill, and Ryan Tannehill's like one of the great replacement level quarterbacks of all time. Like he can keep you in a game and keep the lights on, but he's not going to win anything. Build a franchise around Ryan Tannehill, right? So that was the thing. The entire all the people who evaluated him, with one notable exception, I guess, of Mel Kiper, who was going down with the ship.
Yeah.
He's the one guy who thought he was the best.
Here's
arm
the
in
other
draft.
thing. Here's the other thing that how much influence did his dad have on him? Because he was acting a lot like his dad. The only difference is his dad backed it up. His dad played
an all-time great.
His dad is an all-time great in the NFL, and he had a pretty good stint in Major League Baseball too. He played 2 sports at the highest level. So if he was listening to his dad and trying to emulate him, well, I understand that because kids follow their dads. But you weren't. You're not your dad. You could not do what your dad did. And I think what this should be is a big dose of wake the F up to all the other kids who think they're all that because of NIL money, because they don't care at the next level.
People were saying that they felt bad for him. I don't know. I don't really feel bad.
You know what? No, you know why I feel bad for him? Because someone was obviously in his ear telling him how great he was.
Well,
and it's his dad. And I think his dad. So
right,
I
it's
feel
more the situation. Yeah.
I do feel bad for him about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Not necessarily how the draft specifically played out, but the whole situation in general.
Yeah. And I think that's it. I think he was misled to think that he's better than he is.
Well, and the highway's littered with guys who dropped down the board, including Aaron Rodgers, Johnny Manziel, and others. But this is the biggest one. Like Aaron Rodgers was in the mix, thought to be, it could be a top, could be the number one pick. It went to Alex Smith, and he dropped all the way down to the Packers in the 20s. I don't think anybody's ever dropped like 5 rounds before. That was maybe unprecedented, but again, he's got his opportunity now. He's and I always say, what difference does it make? Once you get in, it doesn't matter. Like you can have a 7th rounder, Donald Driver, be your all-time receiving leader. You can have a 5th pick like AJ Hawk, who we talked about him a lot last week. Some view him as a disappointment. Packers all-time leading tackler. Like, come on. So we'll see. Now he gets to write his story, and he was handed the start. I wonder if Aaron Rodgers would reach out and text the kid and say, hey, maybe he would if he has any relationship with Dion and stuff.
Right.
Don't know if he'd issue a press release about it, but it would be interesting because if I'm Shador and they can hear, hey, dude, just go hard, just go work hard, and nobody will care.
Well, there's a difference going from the top 5 to 22 or 23. It was 22, 23, whatever Rodgers was. And there's a difference between that and Shador Sanders being passed over 4 times by the Cleveland Browns.
Well, and who knows? Like Shador may never be a starter in the league.
He may not.
And that's what the league told him was
Bob in Minneapolis.
And then Tom Brady, the GOAT, was a 6th-round pick. So whatever.
Bob in Minneapolis says, imagine a famous helicopter parent complaining their privileged child isn't playing. Sanders is a disaster waiting to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a video over the weekend, and it was a video of Sanders when he got the call. And immediately Dion, well, not immediately, Dion talks to, Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry, the GM, and all the people. And then at the end, before he hangs up, Dion asks Shador if he said, is that the GM, Andrew Berry? And he's like, yeah, he's here. And Dion's like, well, before you hang up, I want to talk to him. And he hands him over the phone. So on the call, according to the video, and it didn't look fake, Dion asked to talk to the GM already on the call.
Oh God, dear God, that's Shador. The guy.
That's wild. Yeah.
Those are the parents that call the professor when they don't like their kids' grades.
Yeah.
As I've said,
there you go.
I've been doing it. I've been teaching for 15 years. I have never gotten that call. But people ask me if I have, and I said, I have never gotten the call, but it would be a pretty short one.
I can imagine.
It would be very short.
John from Kenosha. This is not 420, but John from Kenosha hits us 877-794-1973. Should the Packers have drafted Shador in the later rounds since Willis is likely gone after next year? I thought about that. It would have been a Packers move. We got quarterbacks, but
I feel like to draft a quarterback, I don't know, to draft Shador and everything that comes with it.
Shador Sanders getting drafted by a Green Bay would be the only 5th rounder who ever held out because he didn't want to go to that city.
Yeah,
there would be a chance of that.
Well, then don't play. But that's what
I'm saying. That's kind of like the attitude. Remember, Elway didn't want to play in Indianapolis, so he went and played baseball. He went to the Yankees.
Well, and that's the other thing. Like, his parents are such jerks.
But that's Elway.
I'm old enough to remember, Eli Manning not wanting to go to San Diego and kicking and screaming. And his dad is an NFL player who was famous. And it was, again, it was a different time, but it was similar situation. Keep them coming. 877-794-1973. We take game balls and kicks the balls throughout the show on Monday. When we come back, it's been a while since Hunter's been in the chair. Let's see if we can knock the rust off. Hunter Baumgart's going to hit us with some hardcore sports headlines when we come back. We are in the Central Standard Distillery Timeout Sports Lounge. It's been a been an eventful show already, but we'll have to remind folks we got Drew and KB live coming up May 22nd at the New Berlin West Performing Arts Center. You like this show? You like it in person? Dobie Maxwell's doing a set, Covalence and KB providing some music. It's going to be like our own variety show. Tickets available. They'll be available at the door at $9.73. What a bargain. You can find them at 973thegame.com/Drew and KB. Urge you to get your tickets early. Love to see it. It is going to be a blast. May 22nd is our event, Drew and KB live. More from the Central Standard Distillery Timeout Sports Lounge coming up. Drew and KB on the game.
Don't miss your shot to win $1,000 in bonus bucks.
Bonus bucks.
Listen every hour weekdays between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m.
Bonus bucks.
When you hear the nationwide keyword, enter it at our website.
Brought to you locally by ARR Recycling. Recycling pays. Go to ARR with your recyclable copper, brass, lead, steel, or aluminum and get cash. Visit them at ARR1938.com or stop in to the West Dallas or Waukesha location. ARR Recycling since 1938.
Now, here's traffic from Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank. Call the Tri-City Total Traffic Tip Line at 414-944-5111.
Westbound in 894 at Forest Home, you got a crash on the right shoulder. Westbound 9413 to Moreland. Northbound 43 delays breaking after Keefe, 22 minutes up to Brown Deer. I'm Kevin Henry, and that's your latest Total Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. Luxury is having a choice between Taco Bell's new $5, $7, and $9 Lux Craving Boxes. It's luxury because there's no wrong choices. There's just right craving.
Performance Apparel. Use promo code SPRING35 to take 35% off your entire order. That's right. Take 35% off your entire order. And you'll receive free Iron Jack socks as a bonus. That's promo code SPRING35 now through May 11th, which happens to be Mother's Day. Iron Jack makes fantastic women's apparel too. Just saying. So take the Brian Bush Challenge and stock up on your favorite Iron Jack gear now through May 11th. Go to ironjack.com. That's ironjoc.com. On behalf of myself and Paul Hansen, happy Mother's Day, Iron Jack Nation.
I'm at a smoothie bar asking people if they'd switch smoothies with me for $574.
Oh, I'll switch.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
That's a headache.
Nope, it's painless.
Oh, so it's easy money.
Yep, check Allstate first and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Worried about your battery and the heat? We get it. You don't want to get stranded somewhere with a car that feels like an oven. We've got you covered at AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Our free battery testing and charging service can help. And if you need a battery, we'll help you find a new one, no problem. Power through with free battery testing and charging at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Alzheimer's disease is the sixth leading cause of death in the country, and it's affecting almost 7 million Americans, including 110,000 people here in Wisconsin. UW-Madison is working hard to improve the lives of those affected, offering resources to educate and the latest in research and technology. The UW Initiative to End Alzheimer's has so many ways you can benefit, learn, get involved, and make a difference. Visit goalsforacure.org. That's goalsforacure.org.
Tariffs and your money? Well, we just offered our thoughts on the most recent episode of the How to Money podcast.
Let's say you do live in a state that gives you a tax break on $529. That's great, but don't invest those dollars once you put them in.
We're all about investing in a 529 plan. Typically, right? You want that tax advantage money to grow. But as you get close to needing to spend the money, de-risking is crucial.
In uncertain financial times, How to Money is here to help. Open your free iHeartRadio app, search How to Money, and start listening today.
That one was off balance. Lillard volleyballs it over, and Lillard goes down with an injury. He's grabbing his high ankle of the left leg. And right now it's 5-on-4. Lillard can't get up.
I knew it right away. Yeah, I feel bad for him. You know, the guy tried to come back for his team, and, you know, I just feel bad for him.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Oh, darkness. We could kick to the balls, the Achilles injury that we've talked about so much on the show, ending Dame Lillard's season. Going to cost him a lot of time next year as well. 6 months minimum, even if he has a miraculous Aaron Rodgers surgery. Gut punch for the Bucks on so many fronts last night at Fiserv Forum. Drew and KB, Central Standard Distillery, Timeout Sports Lounge. That, of course, was from Turner Sports and Iron Eagle, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Hunter Baumgart is ready. It's been a while. But it's time for Hunter to hit us with some hardcore sports.
There's sports, and then there's hardcore sports. If you have an unquenchable thirst for sports, we satisfy every one of those desires. We give it to you the way you like it. Hardcore.
And we start with a little breaking news from the Green Bay Packers as they're signing former Giants linebacker Isaiah Simmons. He did a workout a couple of weeks ago with the team. Now he's signing a one-year deal. He's still just 26 years old. Has 2 career pick sixes, adds versatility with his ability to play nickel as well. Simmons was the number 8 overall pick by the Arizona Cardinals back in 2020, and he's played for the Giants over the last 2 seasons. So we'll see what he can bring to the defense.
Some reinforcements.
Mm-hmm.
How about that? Well, and Riggs did say the Packers have done a good job in the past of undrafted free agents and just filling holes. Goody more than Ted, definitely in free agency. Some notables. So it's worth a swing.
I think so.
I approve. By the way, there's pictures of the Packers guys showing up for the offseason program now that a week later because they had the draft going on and they couldn't get in. But now looks like they're getting after it up at Green Bay. Now
a little delayed.
Little business as usual as they're still tearing down the structures from the draft.
You know, I was thinking about this. Why haven't they built a tunnel from Lambeau to the Hudson Center?
Ooh,
that's a good question.
In the winter, I mean, you still got to training camp. You still got to do the bikes and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But in the winter, why haven't they built a tunnel?
Yeah,
they could afford a tunnel.
That's true.
That
I
is
would
true.
think so.
That would make
and
sense.
then you could get little. You could either have one of those moving walkways like you have in an airport.
Yeah,
where you get on there, one of those things that takes them over there, or else you could have little golf carts or a tram.
A tram.
That's
like
that'll be
the zoo. Like you all get on like the zoo mobile.
Mark Murphy's is the sledding hill, and now Ed Policy's will be the
it'll be the
tunnel.
tram, the tram tunnel. Get Ed on the phone. Hey, you got to build a tunnel.
Got to build a tunnel.
Right.
How'd you guys like, the guys on Little Wayne on the bikes and Roger Goodell biking on it?
That was wild.
Oh,
good visuals.
Man. It was.
I watched some of Goodell on McAfee, and I have to say that I have a kind of a different opinion of him.
Me too.
He seemed really congenial.
Yeah.
Didn't come off the way that he usually does when he has to do pressers or is when he can just be himself. It was pretty good.
Yeah. And from all accounts, and what Wayne was talking a little bit about it, I think over the weekend on the draft coverage, that he's just a down to earth guy, and he's liked when he's able to interview him, and So obviously some nice gestures to Mark Murphy over the weekend too.
He's earning that $60
Hey, why don't we
million a
effort
year.
to get him on?
Yeah,
We
let's
can
get him
effort.
on. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Why not? Just reach out. Hey, we'd like
Yeah.
to talk to you about the draft in Green Bay. We're
Hey,
the flagship. He might
Your
come
wife
on.
worked in Milwaukee for a bit. How about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
All
come
right.
on. We're the flagship. Why wouldn't
Let's
he?
go.
Because
I
he's
like
the
it.
commissioner, but he might.
He might. Yeah, worst they can say is no.
Absolutely.
Right. That doesn't hurt us.
No. Also, looking at the NFL just put this out. Top 10 best-selling jerseys from the NFL draft so far. Who do you think is top?
Shador Sanders, brown jersey.
Number 3.
He's number 3.
Where's Matthew Golden? Wait, he changed numbers, so that's
The 22.
There's a wrinkle there.
Golden is 8th.
Is it Cam Ward?
Ward is 2nd.
Okay, so number 1. Hunter.
Yeah.
Travis Hunter.
Travis Hunter.
Travis Hunter. Yeah,
of
that's the one.
Jacksonville Jaguars. Yep. Wild Shador Sanders. 5th round pick, but number 3. Ashton Genty is 4. And then McMillan is number 5. Jackson Dart, 6. Abdul Carter, 7. And like I mentioned, Matthew
See a
Golden.
picture of the guy walking around in the Packers jersey. The nameplate, the number was 0, and the nameplate said days sober.
Yeah, I did see that guy. And then somebody had a Vikings jersey number 0 that said Super Bowls 1 as the name.
Oh, very nice. That's better.
Nice. Fantastic. What else you got, Hunter? I like these hardcore sports headlines.
Brian Gutekunst held his end of draft press conference on Saturday, and we just mentioned Mark Murphy. He talked about how influential Mark Murphy has been and how great he's been.
Just a lot of thanks and gratitude for Mark having the vision to bring that here. I think that was, something that we'll never forget. I also want to thank Mark for all the support and leadership that he's provided us for so many years. Hopefully this is not his last time in the draft room. Hopefully he'll come back, but he's been really instrumental in all the things we've been able to accomplish here, and we just really can't thank him enough.
Yeah, Mark Murphy had said on the Up and Adams show with Kay Adams that he got a little emotional in the draft room on Thursday night when he realized it was, kind of his last one. Sounds like he'll be invited back, even though he won't be the president, but still, boy, Mark, it just seems like Mark Murphy's become more and more lovable in recent years, huh?
I was saying this all weekend. When you look back at the total body of his work, he's going to go down as a great president. Bob Harlan, obviously, is the most beloved, but he's going to go down as a very good president. And I see a perfect parallel to Bud Selig. You catch a lot of flack because you're running the joint, but when you get right down to it, at least with Bud, he is hands down by far light years ahead of everyone else in terms of what he did as a baseball commissioner. And Mark Murphy, he's on the leading edge of all that. Has proven that you can do a draft in the smallest market.
Yeah.
And still draw hundreds of thousands of people. Now there's still, Detroit fans waving their cranks going, oh, we had more people. Well, you've also got, 100,000 more people and you get 6 million more that are living there. So, pump the brakes there, Skippy.
Yeah, that was the Detroit Times that tweeted out today. Green Bay doesn't do it like Detroit, and put the population of 775, or not the population, but the total count of fans at their NFL draft, 775,000, and Green Bay at 600,000.
Okay. You have a metropolitan area of what?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Exactly.
So, and you know what? Success isn't just by the numbers. I think it was successful from top to finish, and it sure looked a hell of a lot nicer than Detroit.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. All right, let's go to Matt LaFleur. Also had his post-draft press conference. He talked about drafting 2 wide receivers.
Not necessarily, but I got to give Goody a ton of credit and his staff. I mean, there's so much work that goes into this. I mean, these guys are scouting these guys for over a year, and I thought we always do a good job of following the board and drafting the best player available. And I think, the opportunity presented itself there, and I don't think that was necessarily the game plan going into it, but I think just the way everything fell, those were the best players. And so I think anytime you add competition to a room, that's a good thing for our football team. So it's going to be a competitive room. We all know that. And I think that's a positive. And our guys got to embrace that competition. And if they attack it the right way, I think collectively we'll continue to improve.
Couple of wideouts.
Yeah. it's funny because it seems like a month ago, last week, it was Monday. I'm sorry, it was Tuesday. It'll be a week tomorrow that I sat in with Butchie and Zabe and we talked to Matt LaFleur.
Yeah.
So much has happened since we've covered so much. Usually that would be like a high point of the month. And it's like, oh, I forgot. We had Matt LaFleur on the show and we got to ask him questions and he was actually good. And a lot of people commented that on the Talk and Text line, they're like, well, it's better than I thought he would be. And he was like more relaxed.
Yeah, people enjoyed it.
Then I heard him with chopping it up with the Pardon My Take guys, and he was really loose. Like, we got to get Matt back on regularly, and we could loosen him up. Hell, we'll talk.
You and I
ask if he
could.
has a Blackstone.
I guarantee
or a
you and I
bidet,
could.
You know, all the stuff that we like to talk about. Absolutely, yeah, good stuff. More Hunter, more hardcore.
Yes, let's go to the Bucks, where they are on the brink of elimination. It'd be their third straight year losing in the first round, down 3-1. Game 5 is tomorrow, and it's at 5:00. So it's going
5
to be
o'clock.
starting-
Okay, let's kick the balls to the NBA for starting a game on a Sunday at 8:30.
The playoffs take way too long.
With
This is
two
Sunday at
Midwest
8:30.
teams, a Sunday night tip at 8:30. Like, you couldn't have started that Boston Orlando game an hour earlier, like or
Right.
2 hours earlier. What are you doing?
It's ridiculous.
The West Coast audience wanted this in its entirety. Like, come on, that
Yeah,
sucked.
I'm
And
sure.
then to follow it up, how can you be worse than that? Starting a game at 5:00 Central.
Mm-hmm.
The hell. I mean, I know it's like down on the pecking order of series, and especially now, and
Sure.
it's very likely the Bucks are going to bow out tomorrow night. But damn, a 5:00 tip. Where's Mikey Heller when he always bitches about baseball starting games at noon or 1:00 in the playoffs in October? Well, what's the difference between having a game at 1:00 or having a game at 5:00?
Oh,
It's
that's
hard to get home and watch it.
That's different. An afternoon baseball playoff game seems right.
It certainly does.
It
A 5:00
does.
tip does not seem right. And by the way, it was 8:30 scheduled, but it didn't tip off because the Celtics and Magic went a little long.
Oh yeah.
So it was ridiculous. Plus,
yeah,
the way the game went with the Dame injury, it should have been NC-17 anyway. You put the kids to bed. Don't let them see that.
Yeah, that
Awful.
It was bad on all
Anyway,
fronts.
5:00 tip tomorrow is, what are you, high?
Yeah, 4 games tomorrow. So that's why they're starting one at 5. But yeah, I remember, I think it was last year. Maybe they started at like a 4:30 or a 4 tip.
It's just brutal.
It was even earlier last year. But Shams Charania on ESPN talking about the Damian Lillard injury. It's now an official left Achilles tear for Dame.
Damian Lillard underwent an MRI, I'm told, late this morning in Milwaukee. The Bucks have been awaiting the results. Obviously, there's a clear concern. And actually, Matt, I can report here now. Milwaukee Bucks star Damian Lillard has been diagnosed with a torn left Achilles tendon injury. An MRI today revealed the severity, and this is a devastating end to his season.
So he got the news while he was on. However, on the clip I just watched, on the bottom, it said he tore his left Achilles before Shams did that. So I wonder if that was, I don't know if that was
Might have been
really
a work.
in live. Yeah,
they
might have
were
been a
ready.
work.
And that's one of those where they knew last night, but the MRI
yeah.
confirmed it. But they knew, and I knew when I saw him walk off, that wasn't a
Yeah.
sprained ankle.
No,
you could just tell.
you've
He
seen
knew
so
it.
many
I'm
of
like,
those in sports,
Achilles.
and you just know.
Yeah, and that's I would say minimum 6 months. That's with the 24/7 treatment trainers, all that stuff. You know, he's going to be 2 months in a boot or on one of those scooters.
I would think the next calendar year is probably realistically.
Could be. I mean, I came back from deep vein thrombosis.
He
and
did.
And Rodgers had his. Rodgers had a relatively quick. Depends on the procedure and the severity of the rupture. Right, there's different degrees of it, but anyway, you slice it.
Is it completely
Awful.
torn?
We don't know yet.
Where it
They've-
rolled up
they've
the
not
back
said.
of the leg?
They've not said, but I saw him when he walked off, and they helped him off, and then Darvin Ham was with him, and then they had him, like, teammates were helping him, and then I saw him when he got to the tunnel. It looked like he was trying to put weight on it and stuff, and trying to walk unassisted, and that wasn't working. And that's I right away I thought, wow, that's Achilles.
He made a post on Instagram this afternoon saying, "Appreciate all the prayers and well wishes. This one really hurt. His way, not my way, to be continued."
There you go.
His
right.
in all caps and my in all caps.
Indeed. Is that it, Hunter?
That's Hardcore Sports.
Hardcore Sports.
But do you know what you really need to know?
What do we need to know?
What you really need to know is a man's testicles hang at different heights. And that is one hangs lower than the other, and that is to prevent them from colliding when running or sitting. Think about that. God thought of that.
There you go. Intelligent design.
And intelligent it is, and ergonomically correct. I guess,
or evolution, maybe. I'm not sure.
Ergonomics. It could be that, but I mean, it makes total sense. Did you have those little plastic? What do they call them? Click-clacks, the balls that would slam together when you were a kid that people used to.
Oh
play? Yeah. See, that's
clack.
Yeah, you don't want your nuts doing
There you
that.
go. All right.
So how about that? There you go.
That's what you need to know.
That's what you need to know.
Another thing you need to know is we're about to shut down the Central Standard Distillery Timeout Sports Lounge. We'll do that with One for the Road next. Drew and KB statewide on the game.
In my city, in the basement, that ain't pretty.
Drew Wilson here for Pep's Draft House Pizza, the official pizza of the Timeout Sports Lounge and the Drew and KB Show. When you're hungry for a pizza, take it to the house and pair your favorite beer for a true draft house experience at home. With 3 crust options, original hand-tossed, crunchy thin crust, and new rising crust options, it's easy to live your best frozen pizza life with Pep's Draft House Pizza. My personal favorite is the Brawlin' Buffalo Chicken paired with an American Pale Ale. The perfect combination, delivering a knockout punch you won't be able to resist.
Hey, this is Lincoln Kennedy. Here's what's trending on the iHeart Sports Network.
Presented by Mercedes-Benz.
Bucs star Damian Lillard's postseason is over. He suffered a torn Achilles during Sunday's Game 4 loss to Indiana. Former Packers safety Tom Brown has died at the age of 84. He was a 4-year starter for Green Bay beginning in 1964, winning 3 NFL titles. And the son of Falcons defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich is taking responsibility for prank calling Shedeur Sanders during the NFL draft. I'm Frank Garrity.
That feeling of owning your first Mercedes-Benz is hard to believe, but it's real. From the leather stitching to the iconic design, every element of a Mercedes lives up to its reputation. See for yourself at your local dealer. Offers are waiting.
iHeartRadio Earth is here with a new way to enjoy our beautiful planet. Reduce your impact on the environment this fall by packing a waste-free lunch for school or work. Avoid foods with excessive packaging. Use reusable cutlery, napkins, cups, bags, and containers, and recycle or compost any waste when possible. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and the National Environmental Education Foundation. To find more tips for smarter, sustainable living, or to take action in your own community, go to iHeartRadio.com/Earth.
At Potawatomi, where ways to win are endless, another chance to capture epic cash and prizes comes Friday, June 27th. It's the season finale blockbuster drawings. Watch your entries from Enchanted Spins, Unreal Treasures, and Boundless Bounty come together for drawings where $300,000 in cash and prizes is there for the taking. Be there to win your share. June 27th only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. More info online. Must be 21 years old to play.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? At Milwaukee Weight Loss, we know the secret. Our doctor-developed, easy-to-follow weight loss program helps you lose weight fast, naturally and safely, and with no drugs or injections with risk of serious side effects, no prepackaged meals, bars, shakes, and no exercising required. Our program helps reset your metabolism so you can keep the weight off for good with a coach for ongoing support. Our program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast as most other programs. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com to schedule your free consultation.
KB here to tell you about one of the best decisions I ever made, going to Milwaukee Weight Loss. With their program, I'm in the best shape I've been in for years, and I did it without injections, drugs, or prepackaged meals. It changed my life. It will change yours too.
Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. Schedule your free consultation by calling 262-433-4008 or online at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
At Rocket, we believe everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. So if you're feeling locked out of home ownership, we're here to give you back the keys. We're opening doors, breaking down walls, and doing everything we can to turn renters into owners. And we're not going to stop until we help everyone home. To find out more, visit rocket.com. Rocket, own the dream.
Have you tried hands-free Skechers slip-ins yet? Because if you haven't, you're missing out on technology that changes how you think about shoes. First, these are not just regular slip-on shoes. They're not just a pair of loafers without laces. But what makes them different is the technology inside that lets you just step into them. There's a built-in hidden shoe horn that slides your foot in, so they look, feel, and wear just like a pair of shoes you're used to. Except you don't have to bend down, struggle to put them on, or touch them. Try them at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
iHeartRadio is the easy-to-use app for music and radio. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
We call it Wagertainment.
All right, place your bets.
VSiN, every night at 6. Presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet above the rest on Fox Sports 920. Milwaukee's best bet is VSiN, the sports betting network. Presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet above the rest every night at 6. On Fox Sports 920, 97.3 The Game.
It happens every show. We're having a good time in the Timeout Sports Lounge, and John Taffer walks in and says, "Shut this bar down now. Got to get out of here." There's no baseball pregame show for Young Hunter today.
Because
There'll
there's
be
no baseball game.
postgame show for Pipe Bomb and for Tim Allen. Brewers are off, enjoying a day off in the Windy City. Good place to do it. Very popular place in Major League circles to have a day off. Chicago. Players love to walk around Michigan Avenue, especially on a nice, warm, late spring day. That's fantastic. So good for them. Back at it. So the Brewers play the White Sox this week, beginning tomorrow, and then the Cubs at American Family Field.
The week of
So
Chicago teams.
Tournament.
Yeah.
Milwaukee versus Chicago all week. Fantastic. Time for one for the road as we close down the Central Standard Distillery Timeout Sports Lounge. We will pour our delicious Central Standard cocktails into solo cups and hit the streets. And I will ask, KB, what are you taking home from today's show?
What I'm taking home from today's show is that the draft kicked ass. Green Bay showed well. I thought I'm anxious to see what's going to happen with the players when they get to camp. And it was all in all a good weekend. And the Cubs coming to town this weekend. Sorry, I won't be there. Can't stand those guys.
Yeah. Hunter, what do you got for take home?
I am taking home that although I missed out on the festivities of the NFL draft, I'm glad everybody, you guys got to experience it, and a lot of the listeners did as well. It looked amazing, and so glad that the city of Green Bay, the state of Wisconsin, it just showed so well.
That's right.
Nationally.
I have more to say about the Bucks and that the fork in the road they are approaching rapidly as the offseason comes at them like a train coming through a tunnel and bearing down on them. Horrible thing that happened to Dame Lillard and just more bad luck for the Bucks. Someone pointed out today they haven't won a playoff series since they started serving Bud Light instead of Miller products at Fiserv Forum. Conspiracy? I can't say. We're going to do it again tomorrow. Bill Schroeder will join us from FanDuel Sports, Shanna Quinn, Matt LePay, and Aaron Nagler. See you at 3.
Make good choices.
97.3 The Game.